Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna go live. I am live. I wanted to set a little bit of this stuff up, but meh. Just turned it on and said, I don't care. I'm glad to be back without sunglasses. My eyes have healed up pretty good. Sucks to get old, guys. Really sucks to get old. Now, anyway, for you that don't know me, I am the daughter of a crew chief. I've also owned a race car like for 10 years back in this, well, 3 race cars back in the 80s. When I was married from 81 to 92, 82 to 92, I don't know. I don't even remember. 82 to 92, something like that, 10 years. And my ex drove, and I did the marketing, the bookkeeping, and all that. But yeah, he was a good race driver. That's what I'll say about that. Anyway, I am also the daughter of Vic Kangas, and he is a very successful car builder and chassis man. And I'm watching this race, Darlington, and it is a sportsman race. Now, y'all don't probably have as much age as I do about sportsman racing. That's because I'm old, guys. Tomorrow I turn 63. Can you believe it? But, long story short, I just want to go over some more of these races that my dad had something to do with winning, meaning he built the front end in the car that's going to win this race. It's one of his longtime friends, lifelong friends, Ronnie Bouchard. And I'm going over, I didn't realize Dad had worked from 1982 to 1984 with this team. So that's what's kind of really cool. And let's see. I'm going to put up my chat here on my channel. My little laptop here, my little Chromebook. Turn my sound down. And I think I will go racing at Darlington. This is, like I said, Sportsman. If you don't know what Sportsman is, it's a Busch Grand National. If you don't know what Busch Grand National is, it's an Xfinity race, NASCAR Xfinity, which y'all watched today on Saturday. This is where they were in 1984. This is Darlington. I know y'all just ran Darlington and everything, but I see in the beginning here of this race is another race I was watching at Darlington. Benny was giving the scoop, but anyway, I don't know what's up with this one. I've never watched it, so let's watch it. If it's shitty, we'll watch something else. But it's the only Darlington. My dad won both Darlington races. Well, I should say Mike Beam was the crew chief on this car, but Dad built the front end. All right, here we go.
And it's Grand National versus late model sportsman drivers today. On the pole, Grand National regular Ron Bouchard.
They got the pole too.
Former Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt. In the second row is 4-time late model sportsman champion Jack Ingram. And alongside in row number 2, the defending late model sportsman champion
BRB, I'm going to get a drink and you can watch the intro.
International Raceway for the Dixie Cup 200 for NASCAR Late Model Sportsman. A beautiful day in Darlington, South Carolina as 36 cars get set to go in the Dixie Cup 200. The weather, 82 degrees. We have a gentle southerly breeze at about 10 miles an hour. Skies are partly sunny. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to Darlington International Raceway. Along with me today, Benny Parsons, a 1973 Winston Cup champion and a winner of the Atlanta Grand National race earlier this year. And Benny, it looks like it's Grand National versus sportsman drivers in the race today.
It really does, Bob. The front row is shared by Grand National competitors Ron Bouchard and Dale Earnhardt, while on the second row we have Jack Ingram and Sam Ard. There's no doubt that Bouchard and Earnhardt are going to have an advantage, Bob, having run Darlington so many times before in Grand National cars. But Ingram and Ard, I think, will negate that advantage by the fact that they run the regular circuit, the Sportsman circuit, each and every week. They run 30, 40 times a year. And their expertise with these 500-pound lighter cars, I think, is going to be an advantage.
Well, the history of this track goes back to 1949. It's a tough one. Is it as tough as they say it is, Benny?
All the promotion says Darlington is the track, too tough to tame. I believe it is.
And down in the pit area will be Dick Berggren, who'll be covering the activity there for us. Let's go to Dick right now.
Arby's is full of choices. You can get your favorite stuff, 3 for $5.
Pretty good.
Incredible value. Reach in and eat whatever you grab. Arby's.
Look forward to seeing a very competitive race here. Less than 8/1000th of a second separate the top 3 cars here. That is less time than most stopwatches are even capable of recording. Add to that the fact that the late model Sportsman drivers get very, very pumped up about running here. This is, in fact, the springboard to Grand National racing, and everybody in one of these late model Sportsman cars would like to participate in the big league.
And we look forward to your reports, Dick, during this 147-lap race. The Dixie Cup 200 brought to you by world-famous Bardol. Get Bardol, the engine saver. And by Nissan, builders of high-mileage, high-quality cars and trucks for 50 years, available at your Datsun dealer. And by Skoal Bandits, for tobacco pleasure without lighting up. It's a pouch instead of a puff. We'll be back with the starting lineup for today's race in just a moment. South Carolina, and a closer examination of this historic racetrack. It's 1 3/8 miles in length. It's paved, of course. The front stretch is 1,228 feet long, 70 feet wide. The back stretch is 1,229 feet long and also 70 feet wide. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 23 degrees. They are 100 feet wide with a 30-foot groove and 1,264 feet in length. And turns 3 and 4 are 25 degrees in bank, 160 feet wide, 1,979 feet long. The pit road is 1,055 feet long. Well, Benny Parsons has driven this track many times, and we were with him to take a closer examination of exactly where you run at Darlington International Raceway.
In all the promotional material preceding the Trans-South 500, they kept calling it Darlington, the racetrack too tough to tame. There's a lot of truth to that, because I think maybe this racetrack is too tough to tame. You can go down in turn 1 or turn 3 1,000 times, but yet that 1,001st time, it'll bite you. It'll just reach out and grab you, suck you in the fence, and when they ask you why, you have no idea. I tell you what, let's take a ride around the racetrack, and we'll just show you how tough it really is. We're going down the front straightaway. You know, it looks wide. It looks like it's very comfortable. But at 170 miles an hour, it really doesn't take long to get down to turn 1. We're almost to turn 1. Now we start backing off the throttle. We hit the brakes. We really hit them hard. We got to check the car, because when we get down in here, we can't be running over about 140, 150 miles an hour. We want the left front to touch the apron. It'll throw the car back up right in the middle of the racetrack, almost in the middle. Then back on the throttle. You start bringing the car down the hill, down the hill. All right, now we're in the groove. We're really in the groove. We want to be right almost touching the apron as we come off here. Now we want to start the car going back out towards turn 2, because the natural tendency is for the car to go back out there. Now, down the back straightaway, again, it looks like a long ways, but really at 160, 70, 80 miles an hour, it doesn't take long. We're going now almost to turn 3. We back off the gas. We hit the brakes. Now we cut across this corner. We cut across it, and again, we want to touch the apron with the left front tire. That'll kick the car back up. Now here, we want to go higher than we did down in turns 1 and 2. Up high, almost to the retaining wall. And you say, boy, what a lovely corner. But all of a sudden, folks, the racetrack goes dead left, and you got to know when to turn. You got to start turning and bringing it funnels down to one place. You got to be in this place if you're going to get around Darlington.
Facts. Now,
and the procedure starts all over again, and it's the same thing. You got to do exactly the same thing time after time.
yes.
And this, folks,
And that's
so tough.
opposite now, you know, your front and back stretch.
In that box, waving the checkered flag.
I went to the 2 races before it switched,
Go ahead with this race. The cars are on the
and I'll guarantee they switched it a lot because of the sun.
Dixie Cup 200.
as I have a scar right here
Annual Dixie Cup 200 on the front row.
from my neckline.
Bouchard outside, Dale Earnhardt in
Now we're on the pole.
Jack Ingram in number.
Beside Dale Earnhardt, that's some guy that's kind of
In
famous.
the third row, Lake Speed in 83, Jeff Bodine in 17. The fourth row, car number 10, L.D. Ottinger, and 22, Bobby Allison. In the fifth row, car number 21, driven by Larry Pearson. Outside, car number 1, driven by Morgan Shepherd. In the sixth row, car number 46, former Darlington Dash champion Larry Hoopaw, and car number 6, driven by Tommy Houston. In the seventh row, the Jarrett brothers, Dale in number 32 inside, and Glenn in 24 outside.
Glenn used to drive.
45, Charlie Luck, and number 12, Tommy Ellis. Row number 9, Kirk Bryant in 00, and Benny Curley in number 71. In the 10th row, Bosco Lowe in number 70, and Ronnie Silver in number 14. The 11th row, car number 29, driven by Joe Thurman, and 63, Jeff Hensley.
Jeff Hensley. All right.
Car number 61, and Steve.
That's the crew chief, Jeff Hensley.
Junior Nydecken in car number 76, and Ed Barrier in number 60. And in the 14th row, Mitchell Clark in car number 39, along with William Hogan in car number 73. The 15th row, Carl Williford at number 48, and John Linville in 62. The 16th row is car number 82, driven by Larry Walker, and 97, Harry Lee Hill. Row number 17, Jimmy Hensley in car number 90, and Bob Shreves in 91. In the 18th row, car number 09, Francis Affleck, and number 31, Ed Bogus. Those are your 36 starters for this
Pretty neat, huh?
7-lap race. And there are the Jarrett brothers. They're starting side by side here this afternoon. They, of course, are the sons of former Grand National champion Ned Jarrett.
Exactly right. And, you know, they're unlike brothers when you look at them up close. The physical resemblance is not close at all. And on the racetrack, one of them's got a Pontiac, one of them's got a Ford. So, again, no resemblance at all between the brothers.
They're in the 7th row for today's race. Dale from Conover, North Carolina in car number 32. His brother alongside him.
I hope you're feeling good. This is Darlington.
It is now pulling back out onto the track. The number 29 car,
And
Joe Thurman. There's the number 24.
it's Friday.
Glenn Jarrett from Hickory, North Carolina. Cars are now
I am streaming from Flagler Beach, Florida.
talking again about this racetrack and the last
I love it here, near Daytona.
minutes ago. The most important thing, I think, is the fact that the turns and the straightaways are 100 or 170 feet wide, but only 30 of that is an area that you run in.
Exactly.
I'm basically a racing historian.
Front straightaway.
I'm in the process of writing my dad's book.
But yet when you get in turn 1, you got to find
And
30 feet of racetrack. Sure, 2 cars.
these are filling in some of the blanks. 1984, we were running our street stock up at Monadnock
The drivers will be looking
while Dad was racing down south.
by Tommy Ellis. He's a veteran of this type of competition, but he has a regular Grand National ride this year. And is
And they're on the pole here, starting out.
the pace car pulls into the pit area. The 36 cars in the Dixie Cup 200 are being led down by Ron Bouchard and Dale Earnhardt. The green flag waves, and the race is on. Definitely 2 abreast through turns 1 and 2 as Bouchard and Earnhardt ran through there side by side, but they get strung out now as they head down the backstretch. And it is Ron Bouchard leading at the moment, but
Ronnie likes the outside, typically when he was in modifieds.
going into turn number 3 and taking the lead momentarily. We'll see how they stack up as they complete lap number 1. Here they come. It's almost a dead heat through there, but Dale Earnhardt did have the slight advantage over Ron Bouchard, so Earnhardt will be scored as the leader of lap number 1. A 147-lap race. Bouchard running in 2nd position, and Lake Speed is 3rd. Sam Ard is running in 4th position, and in 5th is Jack Ingram as they're in turn number 3 on lap 2.
Lake Speed made a very, very good move on that first lap and moved up to 3rd place and has gained on Earnhardt and Bouchard. He's right behind them. He's looking at 2nd place right now.
And here comes Bouchard diving to the inside as they go into turn number 1, but Dale Earnhardt slams the door, and Ron Bouchard
He's just playing.
in the 2nd
He's testing to see if he can.
83 that Benny was talking about a few minutes ago, and now Lake Speed is looking to the inside. Oh, they're going to go through there 3 abreast into turn number 3.
Ronnie's like, oh, hell no.
Ron Bouchard. Lake Speed is in second.
I can't blame him.
Off of turn number 4 once again, a slow car in front of them moving to the inside, well down onto the apron of the racetrack. It is still Dale Earnhardt leading the race with Lake Speed running second, and right behind is Ron Bouchard. Sam Ard is still running fourth, Jack Ingram is fifth, and Jeff Bodine is sixth at this point.
I hope you young people know how famous these people are, Sam Ard and Jack Ingram.
Right away.
Bouchard and Speed. I know you all probably got to see them race at the end of their careers and
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
stuff like that. And Ronnie left the sport early. I think he didn't drive much.
Number 4 completing an
I got his stats up.
of lap number 4.
After 80,
Lake Speed,
8 maybe?
number 83, Vince Pontiac showing the way. Lake Speed has only started one late model Sportsman race this year. That was the first of 1984 on the high banks of the Daytona International Raceway. And Lake Speed finished a close second in that race.
I have the stats, but I don't want to bring them up
Darlington,
and wreck the race.
South Carolina.
Uh-oh. I can bring the stats up now, I guess.
To be
I
here.
knew I touched the
Be
miles.
among team.
Okay.
And there is
Ooh,
Morgan Shepherd in car
Morgan.
number 1 pulling into the pit area. And from every indication, Morgan is going to be out of the race.
It looks like it. You don't pull back there unless you get some pretty terminal.
True.
Not on the
Let me see. I'm just going to jump in this database real quick
Still running in the same order, although
and go to the very bottom. And he raced in
challenge
88. He was a viewer's choice commentator, color commentator in 88. But his last race, it looks like, was 87, a BGN race.
average speed of 100.
You know, he
0.815 miles an hour.
wanted to set up for his family and stuff. Okay,
These are late
with
model sports.
this here, we're watching this race right here, I believe.
Number 22, another one of those Grand National
The one that's gonna win.
here this afternoon. Running right ahead of him on the backstretch is Jeff Bodine.
Sorry about that.
Behind Bobby Allison at green and white car is Jack Ingram, the 4-time late model
I
sportsman.
might watch that Pocono color commentary.
2 wins. Oh, spin coming off turn 4.
We have a car spinning and
Ooh.
the inside wall
Not bad.
on the turn side 4 of the start-finish line. That is car number 82, and the driver of that car is Larry Walker from Trinity, North Carolina. He spun coming off of the 4th turn, went to the inside. You can see
Blown motor.
unstrapping the netting.
Because I don't think he got enough damage.
Good shape, but the yellow is out, and the cars will be slowed for the next few laps. We replay the spin coming off of turn 4.
Well, you know, we're probably going to see lots of action over there because a lot of these fellows are inexperienced, and that is a tough corner, one of the toughest. As I said at the beginning of the show, you come off the corner, and you think you're in a beautiful corner, but all of a
He
sudden
didn't bump it hard enough to wreck nothing.
wall that hard.
No, he just kind of bumped it there with the left rear of the race car, and you can see he is out of it. So he is in.
Oh, he's a rookie. See the yellow?
Dick Berggren, who is with Morgan Shepherd, one of the early.
Yellow stripe on the bumper.
Morgan, it was a short afternoon for you.
Yeah, we had engine trouble. We knew it before the race. We had a cracked solar head, and we didn't have another engine to go back in the car.
What kind of condition is the Speedway in, Morgan?
It's in real good shape. I've been doing most of my running in a Grand National car, and the track is, you know, you run high, low, but that don't give you a whole lot of room because it's just 2 lanes wide.
Morgan Shepherd's day is over very early today.
And we are under caution at Darlington International Raceway because of a spin coming off of
Chrysler K car there.
Larry Walker. There are the standings. Lake Speed.
Look at Lake go.
Sam Ard, Dale Earnhardt, and Jeff Bodine. We'll be back with more racing in a minute. His car is being taken off the racetrack. Well, these cars are very, very similar to the Grand National cars, and Dick Berggren had an opportunity to take a closer examination.
The names Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Allison, Ron Bouchard, and Jeff Bodine are very familiar to viewers of Grand National racing, but they're equally familiar to fans of NASCAR's late model sportsman racing too. Late model sportsman engines are very similar to Grand National engines, and in fact, in many circumstances, they're even built by the same people. There are some differences, however. Many of the competitors in this league use a smaller engine to take advantage of a weight break. The cars can be lighter. Boy, do they twist them. As much as 8,000 RPM. And keeping these engines together is more of a difficult task than keeping a Grand National engine together, which isn't turned quite as tightly. The Grand National cars must use a very recent body design. Late model Sportsman cars, on the other hand, are prohibited from using the latest in design technology. But they are allowed these sleek body designs. This is a 1975 Omega, and they really slice through the wind with the late model Sportsman cars. Although there are differences between the late model Sportsman and the Grand National cars that are practicing behind us now, the similarities outweigh the differences. These cars flat fly out here at Darlington Speedway, and they've got plenty of excitement to tag along with them.
Well, Benny, the engine situation is a very interesting one. A lot of these drivers are using 311 engines, while some others are using 358s, and the 311s get a much bigger jump coming off of a straightaway, although they rev at a higher RPM, and that's going to be an interesting thing that we'll watch for as the race progresses here this afternoon. Now the cars are coming down the main straightaway and get the green flag.
The thing on the 311 is that there's a weight advantage if you run a 311. Yes, Ed Berry has had a problem on a restart, and I don't know if he's going to make it in the pits or not. The car's going very slowly.
Well, he missed the entrance to the pit area, and he's still on the main straightaway, and I don't believe he's taken off the track. He might, though. We'll watch the situation as the racing continues on the track. It is Lake Speed showing the lead, now opening up about an 8 or 10 car length advantage over the second place driver. They come down off of turn number 4 onto the relatively flat straightaway. In second position is Sam Ard, who got a nice jump at the drop of the green flag on the restart. Last year's late model Sportsman champion Sam Ard in car number 00 has moved into second place, with Ron Bouchard now third. Off of the second turn down the backstretch, Ron Bouchard looking to the inside, and now Sam Ard looks like he might want to challenge Lake Speed for the lead. But as they go into turn number 3, they go into single file formation once again, and Lake Speed holds on to that first place.
Looks like Sam Ard's getting his engines at the same place Lake Speed is, because he really went down that straightaway as well.
They move 2 abreast down the straightaway as Bobby Allison goes to the inside to pass Jeff Bodine and pick up the spot. Bobby Allison moving into 5th position. There are the first 4, and Bobby Allison running right behind this group of cars. Lake Speed, Sam Ard, now Ard once again on the inside going into turn number 3, and
trouble.
they bump. And Lake Speed bumps the wall and miraculously saves the car. Now he spins to the inside. Boy, you just don't get bumped like that and hit the wall without losing control. I thought Lake was going to be able to gather it in, but could not. And it just proves what you said earlier there in turn number 3. It is single file and single file only.
And you got to remember, see the tire mark. We saw the tire mark on the side of his car. And Lake Speed really got a tough break when the caution flag did not fall.
That's right. The car did not stop, essentially, and so the green remains out. Lake Speed, who was leading less than half a lap ago, is now way back in the field after having made contact with Sam Ard and bumped the outside wall and then spinning to the inside. So that gives the lead now to Sam Ard, followed by Ron Bouchard, then Dale Earnhardt. Bobby Allison is running 4th, and 5th place belongs to Jeff Bodine. Then in 6th is Jack Ingram in car number 11. Well, we'll wait and see if Lake Speed can move up through the field now and recapture some of those positions that he lost. This is the replay of what happened there in turn number 3.
Well, they just simply tried to go in the corner 2 abreast, and it does not happen. You can't do it. Particularly at this point in the race. You can later on, but you can't at this point in the race. And they almost got tagged by Dale Earnhardt as he come back across the racetrack.
And there is Lake Speed, who has moved into the pit area. You can see the damage there on the left side of the car, the contact that was made with Sam Ard as they went into turn number 3. The pit stop is already almost 18 seconds long now as the work continues. They're changing tires on that car. Lake spun to the inside, although he did keep going.
The damage, excuse me, Bob, but the damage that he's done has been on the right side of the car. When he went up, he grazed the wall, and he's hit it with the right side. He's probably knocked the front end off the line. Dick Berggren is in the pits with, I think, maybe the crew chief. Dick?
Yeah, Lake Speed is in here. They've got the right side of the car jacked up. They've changed so far the right front tire. Now they're working on the wedge bolt on the right rear corner. The car is definitely knocked out of alignment, and it's really a shame. Lake Speed was very, very up for this event. This is a car that he built himself. The engine is basically built out of hand-me-down Grand National parts. So this is not what you call your high-dollar race team. It's more of a backyard operation, and he was really fired up, thought he could win this thing.
Everybody was fired up, Dick. I talked to the sponsor, the fellow who owns Bullfrog, the sponsor down there, and he was ready to go to Victory Lane. You know, he's been sponsoring the car for about 2 years and hasn't been to Victory Lane yet. And Darlington would be a nice place to start.
This division has made so many big strides in the last 2 or 3 years. It was reorganized about 3 years ago, and the tracks the drivers compete on was narrowed geographically. Another spin, this one up in turn number 2.
Just trying to copy something.
Involved is number 45, driven by Charlie Luck. That's a yellow and green car. Charlie Luck from Mannequin, Virginia. He is a former student of a military academy and sneaks away, or did sneak away on the weekends while he was attending that academy to do some racing. Now he's full-time. Charlie Luck, car number 45. The Luck Stone Pontiac, and we have a replay here. This is the situation up in turn 2.
Well, it looks like he just probably, it looks like that he probably put the left side on the apron just a little bit too much, and when he went down and hit the apron, it threw the car around and spun him, although there could be other circumstances.
Now the yellow is out once again as Charlie pulls into the pit area, as his crew will examine the damage that was done to the car. There's a good look at young Charlie Luck.
I tell you what, in the shot right behind him, there's a car. We can see the damage to the front end of that car right behind him. It's very possible that car ran the back of Charlie Luck.
Very possible. That's the number 71 car, driven by Benny Curley from Heidenite, North Carolina. Yellow is out because of the spin involving Charlie Luck, and there is the number 71 car of Curley moving back out onto the racetrack. So our second yellow of the afternoon. We are 20 laps into this 147-lap race. There's the number 87 car. Steve Jarvis moving very slowly on the racetrack, and Lake Speed is also in for another pit stop. And ESPN and the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing present a track fact.
What's next with Florida Blue? Let's create health solutions that solve problems before they're problems. Like at Florida Blue Centers, with nurses standing by. Discounts on...
There's some pretty good track facts lately that I've come across.
Energy, and also to save some backs, the tires that are going to be balanced here at Darlington are ramped up to the tire balancing machine. Each one of these tires with its wheel and inner liner weighs about 70 pounds, and they're going to have to balance about 300 of them before the weekend's event is over in the late model Sportsman division alone.
We are back at Darlington, and a crash has occurred involving 2 cars. There's the contact in turn number 2. Now, involved in this crash were Glenn Jarrett in car number 24 and John Linville. Once again, Linville was a driver who spun originally and then was T-boned by Jarrett. There is John climbing out of the car. However, he will display a bit of a limp here, and he was taken to the infield hospital. Nothing real serious, but Benny, as you pointed out, ankle and leg injuries are most common in this type of racing.
They're very common because there isn't much room around where your feet go, and the clutch and brake pedals doesn't have any rubber on them. So when you hit something very hard, your feet start flying around in there. When it hits those clutch and brake pedals, it hurts so bad.
Well, the cars that are out of competition at this point, Jimmy Hensley in number 90, Morgan Shepherd in number 1, also Larry Walker, Ed Barrier, Steve Jarvis, Dale Earnhardt, Ed Bogus, and Joe Thurman. Now, all of the leaders, along with John Linville and Glenn Jarrett, the 2 drivers involved in that crash. Now, all of the leaders have come in for pit stops during this caution period, so the standings are shaken up somewhat. We will go down to Dick Berggren for an explanation of some of the activity that occurred during the pit stops. Dick?
We've had a lot of action down here so far. Sam Ard waited very, very late in the caution, came in and took on left side tires, went out, drove around for a couple of laps, and then decided, why not? He came back in again and put on right side tires. He's got 2 fresh ones and a fresh load of fuel, too. Bouchard had pitted very early under the caution flag. He took on no tires. but his crew chief says everybody's going to have to come in for at least one more stop.
Thank you, Dick. 14 cars are in the lead lap.
So he's saving tires
Completed. The car right behind the pace car is
for the end.
number 21, Larry from Spartanburg, South Carolina. This is his
He's running P5.
race on this racetrack. We mentioned earlier how David Pearson has won more races than any other. Now Larry moves to the inside and is going to be making a pit stop. Along with Charlie Luck right ahead of Pearson, moving into his pit, and now here is Larry coming to a stop.
And Ron Bouchard's coming back. Quite understanding what this is all about.
Bouchard was one of the early leaders and battled for a long time up front with Sam Ard and Bobby Allison. Quick pit stop for Larry Pearson. He is back in competition. There is Ron Bouchard, who's kind of blocked here and moves out of the pit area very slowly. Bouchard, the number 47 car.
I don't understand why they would do that unless they have aspirations going the rest of the way, but they can't possibly run 80 laps, can they?
Well, we'll find out. The light on the
we will.
pace car is out, and we're going to go green here in just a second. The traditional two abreast restart here in NASCAR competition. Bobby Allison is really the driver in the best shape at this point. He is the second one in line there. There he is in number 22. He is the second car in line, and I think we should watch him step on the accelerator here in turn number 4 as the green is going to be displayed. But Bouchard and Ard and everybody else are in the back of the pack, so they're going to be charging up front. 14 lead changes in this race already, and we're just about halfway.
This is going to be a pretty exciting restart because Lake Speed is on the inside of Tommy Houston. Tommy Houston wants some of that glory of leading this race at Darlington. Lake Speed wants one of those laps down he's behind, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
All right, the green comes out. Tommy Houston in car number 6 is the leader, but Lake Speed has moved out ahead of him. Remember, Lake is a lap down, so he is trying to make up at least one of the laps he is down. Bobby Allison and Houston battling behind Lake Speed, and Houston moves to the inside, trying to block the progress of Bobby Allison, and successfully does so, at least for this particular lap, as Allison now moves to the inside, coming into turn number 4, and Bobby Allison moves into the lead. Falling back into second spot now as both of these cars are running behind Lake Speed and number 83. Lake, an early leader here, but having trouble with the fence up in turn number 3. And has made numerous pit stops trying to get the bodywork away from the tires. Now Bobby Allison passes Lake, so Lake falls back and loses the lap that he had made up just a few seconds ago. Now the front straightaway once again. Bobby Allison, Tommy Houston running in second position. Third is L.D. Ottinger in car number 10. Running in fourth place is Larry Hoopaw, number 46. And fifth is Jeff Bodine in car number 15. And those 5 cars are on the same straightaway here, separated by only a couple of seconds.
There's races every place. I can't even keep up with all the races going on right now.
There, Jack Ingram and Ron Bouchard are going at it. These two guys have led this race and pitted during the most recent caution period. Started from the back and now are moving up quickly through the traffic. Bouchard in number 47, Jack Ingram in number 11.
Bouchard's caught Sam Ard behind the slow car on this restart and got by him, and now he's by Ingram. You know, Jack, as I mentioned earlier in the telecast, he has won the last 2 Sportsman races, so he's on a roll in that Skoll advantage. Ron Bouchard's getting all he wants today.
Well, this race last year, there was only one late model Sportsman race here at Darlington last year, and it was won by Neil Bonnet. He's not competing here today.
This is 1984. Dad was the crew chief on the Cup car. I'm trying to remember who was on the Busch car. It might have been Birdie, to be honest. I was thinking Mike Beam, but Mike Beam took over after Dad
The backstretch.
left, I believe.
Bouchard, Ingram, and Ard.
Trouble up turn 4.
Car spinning in turn number 4, right in the middle of the racetrack, making contact with the wall. That is number 10, L.D. Ottinger, who was running in second
almost saved it.
Tennessee, that is a tough race.
Tough break for LD. He used to run all these events. And was gone for a couple of years. Is back in a good car, and I'm looking forward to seeing a good day from LD.
And
Those-
splits Pontiac in the races so far this year in late model sportsman competition. LD finished 8th at Daytona, did not compete at Richmond, was 4th at Rockingham, 21st at the Hickory Speedway, and 13th at Martinsville in the most recent late model sportsman race. He was the champion of this division in 1975 and 1976, but he has spun and made some contact with the outside wall in turn number 3 here at Darlington.
Heavy, heavy damage there, Bob, and the crew has told him to take it behind the wall. There's no use trying to repair the car. It's all over.
You know, one thing that has been very impressive today, we've seen a lot of spins. This one in the middle of the racetrack, but it's amazing that the other drivers have been able to avoid the trouble in front of them. I think it speaks well for these late model sportsman competitors.
It really does, because the thing is when these cars spin, when you're behind them, you're almost in a blind spot. The racetrack being banked as it is, you really can't see that well. There LD spins. Now, what's this car behind? That's Hoopaw. Larry Hoopaw. He
Good
cuts
job.
underneath it.
Good job at
Across
driving,
the
by the way.
apron, and does a great job.
Yep, he sure does. Well, let's go down to Dick Berggren in the pit area. Dick?
Well, I'm in LD Ottinger's pit, and they are surely unhappy here. He is really hot. Very, very disappointed to be out of this race. They thought they were really going to do something here this afternoon. Ottinger, as you mentioned, Benny, is a former sportsman champion who finally had to give it up. He just said that he had spent so much time on the road, going from race to race to race, that he was simply physically, mentally exhausted. He took some time off.
Facts.
He's back at it. He started a plan this year that was only going to take him to a few races, but they've been so successful so far in the 1984 season, he's going for the championship.
So many people quit racing and they go right back at it a year or two later or a few months later.
So the crew works on the car.
It just burns you out week after week after week, what it takes to prepare a team.
Darlington International Raceway.
Oh, wow, we're up to 5th already after pitting.
Have you always had trouble losing weight and keeping it off? Same.
Discover the
ESPN Speed Week. Join us for a review of the activity in motorsports the previous week and a preview of what's coming up the following week. It's every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. Larry Nuber and I co-host the show. We hope you'll join us. It's brand new on ESPN Speed Week, Thursdays at 7:30. Here are the top 10 in the Dixie Cup 200 at Darlington International Raceway. The leader is Ron Bouchard. We are under caution. Sam Ard is
What?
Jeff Bodine third. Jack
Oh, somebody must have pit ahead of him.
Anderson is fifth. In sixth position is Dale Jarrett.
Dad was good at that
Seventh
stuff.
is Tommy Ellis. Eighth
32.
is Kurt Bryant. 9 is Wayne Nidecken. And 10th is Ronnie Silver in car number 14. 88 laps out of 147 have been completed. Boy, what a race so far, and there are still about 6 or 8 drivers very capable of winning. Here is one of them, Bobby Allison, in the number 22 Miller High Life Oldsmobile. Now he is in for the second time, just a couple of laps here. They are changing rubber on the left side of the car at this point. Bobby waiting patiently. We heard from his crew chief, Gary Nelson, a few minutes ago, saying that he would have to make at least one more pit stop, and this is it. So apparently now he will be able to go the distance because he does have enough fuel and there is brand new rubber on the race car. Bobby Allison pulling back out in competition.
This is a really good quality for
The late model sportsman division
the year,
is the
to be honest.
race of the year, and the
Looks
leader
good.
in points is Sam Ard with 8.
He wins both Darlingtons, but
704.
I can only find the tape of one. I'll have to ask my sister about the second
in the point
race.
standings after
They get the pole and win both in the same season.
Looks like we're going to get a go this time, Bob. The pace car looks like he's going to pull in, and we're going to get back to racing.
Bouchard, Ard, Jeff Bodine, and Jack Ingram. There is Ron Bouchard, the pole sitter in this race in the Doobie Racing Pontiac, qualified at 151.815 miles an hour. And they come down off the banking in turn number 4 and get the green flag. So here we go once again. Sam Ard in number 00 following closely. Ron Bouchard off of turn number 2. We'll see if Sam makes a move. And the backstretch, he is moving to the inside of Ron Bouchard. And he passes Bouchard. Sam Ard is in the lead. Bouchard back to second place. There's a good close-up of that car, number 00. Turn number 4, Bouchard still running second. Now Jeff Bodine has moved up to third position. Sam Ard in the Thomas Brothers Oldsmobile. He qualified at 151.413 miles an hour. The Grand National drivers also compete here at this racetrack, and that is a speed that will put a lot of drivers comfortably in the Grand National field. Bodine moves to the inside and passes Ron Bouchard, and Jeff Bodine now moves into second as Sam Ard continues to hold the lead.
Sam Ard has been working extremely well all day. I don't really know what to think about Jeff Bodine. If he can't compete with Sam Ard, Sam just might drive away from him. He did once before in the caution flag come out. He could again. He has the potential. He's not going any place. Jeff Bodine closed up on him, actually.
That's right. Jeff Bodine is solidly in second position right now. Jeff, of course, formerly from Chemung, New York, now living in Pleasant Garden, North Carolina. And this is only his third late model sportsman race of the year. Jeff earlier was third at Daytona and 24th at Rockingham. He won this event back in 1982, and that many people say was the race that led him into a solid ride in Grand National racing. Jeff Bodine from Pleasant Garden, North Carolina, car number 15, now second in the Dixie Cup 200. There's Bouchard in third, still hanging in there. And as you heard his crew chief mention earlier, Ron Bouchard would like to run behind some cars because when he is out in front, the car has a pushing problem. He's now in third. Fourth, right behind Ron Bouchard, is Jack Ingram in number 11.
Well, if he likes to be behind cars, he ought to be loving it right now because he's third with the car right in front of the car right behind him.
This could come down to a last lap move by somebody in this area of the racetrack. Right now, it's just a situation where a lot of the drivers are settling down and just kind of taking it easy out there at over 150 miles an hour, if that's possible. Is there any place on this racetrack that you can relax, Benny?
Well, you can relax down the straightaways. You can just let go of the steering wheel a little bit, but you really don't relax. But it only lasts for 4 or 5 seconds, then you're back in the turn again.
And you can't relax at all mentally.
Oh, no. You have to be mentally alert every inch of the way. Look, Bodine really gets through 3 and 4. He's underneath him. I think they made some contact.
It looks like they could very well have. Bodine very close to Sam Ard. They're in turn number 4, but no positions changed. Now Jack Ingram is challenging Ron Bouchard there for third place, but again, no change, and they continue to run in the same order.
You know, Sam Ard changed tires, put on 4 tires when he made his pit stop, and it's just very possible that they could have the stagger, the tire size could not be exactly what they're looking for, because he doesn't seem to have the dominance that he had early on in the race. He's having trouble up in 3 and 4. Those cars just need to pump up a little while.
For the turn once again. These are the first 4 positions here on the straightaway, running nose to tail, and the battle for 5th and 6th is also on the main straightaway. It involves the number 21 of Larry Pearson and the number 32 car driven by Dale Jarrett. Now his brother crashed earlier and is out of the race, but Dale Jarrett is doing very well running here in 6th place.
That's an interesting story, Bob. You know, both those drivers are the sons of Grand National champions. David Pearson is Larry's father. Ned Jarrett is the father of Dale Jarrett, both Grand National champions. And both these guys want to follow in their footsteps and are doing a pretty good job.
They sure are. Larry Pearson, this is his first race on this track, now running in 5th. Larry is from Spartanburg, South Carolina, driving the Chattanooga Chew Pontiac, and Dale Jarrett in the O'Connell Line Buick. And there is another Jarrett that...
Patty Jarrett. She is my PR person, and she's got her eyes on Dale Jarrett. She's not worried about any PR for Benny Parsons right now. She's worried about Dale Jarrett.
Dale running in 6th place in the Dixie Cup 200 at this point, right behind Larry Pearson in car number 21. Larry Pearson down the backstretch. He has been in all races so far this year in the late model sportsman competition. His best finish of 4th at Hickory. He was also 6th at Daytona and 9th at Richmond. Jeff Bodine has taken the lead from Sam Ard, so Jeff Bodine moves into the top position, and that makes our 21st lead change of the afternoon. Jeff Bodine leading with Sam Ard in 2nd, moving to the inside of Bodine, but I don't think he's going to be able to pass. No, he is not. Ron Bouchard is...
Hi, Sin, what's up? I was sharing some stuff. How long did you type? I was sharing it to you and here and there. I think I shared it to Billy, too. This is Ronnie's win at Darlington. They're running 3rd.
Bouchard has a bigger engine.
And it's about halfway through, a little past halfway.
Now, the drivers say that the small motors, which are allowed only in the lighter cars...
Yeah, right. When Dad did his interview, he said that when they asked what racetrack or whatever stood out to him, and he said he always liked Bristol, but winning both of these Darlington Sportsman races, getting the pole and winning and getting the pole and winning in 84, he said meant a lot to him.
This motor situation a little bit, Benny. There is talk...
You'll have to look in your files.
There may be a limitation on...
And see if you have the 2nd Darlington race. Because this is the first one.
Would you support such...
And the 2nd one isn't in YouTube.
Of Jeff Bodine once again going into tournament.
So you'll have to look it up.
Ard 2nd, Bouchard 2nd, and Jeff Bodine from 1st to 3rd in a matter of seconds. Back to the engine situation.
I don't know. I don't know
that.
It's just not there.
I've been doing is great.
If they broadcasted it, you would have taped it, right?
NASCAR has kind of used it as I don't really know what I'm trying to say.
Would you support a reduction of speed in Grand National racing?
Well, yeah, I think we do need to have a reduction in speed, but I don't agree. I agree with the smaller engines more so than I agree with the smaller carburetor, because the smaller carburetor really doesn't, it slows the fast cars down.
Also, the one we went to, I can't
really
really find either. I can't remember which one we went to in 92
go fast
at Darlington.
All right, Sam Ard, Ron Bouchard, and Jeff Bodine, the first 3 in the Dixie Cup 200, and we're...
Whoops. I don't have YouTube Premium right now.
We're at Darlington International Raceway in the track they call Too Tough to Tame.
Being a birthday month, I had to pay my registration for the car and the motorhome.
Model sportsman cars. Sam Ard.
In fact, I got to go show it to the office because they want a copy.
And Larry Pearson is 5th. 6th is Dale Jarrett. 7th, Bobby Allison. 8th was Tommy Ellis. 9th was Tommy Houston. And 10th, Kirk Bryant. 108 out of 147 laps have been completed.
Should be in the mail any day now.
For a total of 41 laps. We are about to go back green. And the driver that we were watching move up quickly before this latest caution period was Bobby Allison, but there is...
That guy there, Sam Ard, was really something in the day.
Sam Ard, car number 00.
Bobby still has his work cut out for him because he's behind Pearson, Dale Jarrett, some cars that want to finish here, that want to show...
I think everybody in racing is going through so many databases.
Give Bobby a hard time, and he has to get...
Because we're realizing how important this information is. I know several
Sam Ard.
media people.
Sam Ard led them down for a very slow reason.
The guys that want to interview Dad, if Dad is ever in North Carolina.
Turn, although it's still a relatively slow start, but they are back.
They have found, like, they archived every single speedway scene they found, Winston Cup scene.
Followed by Jack Ingram, those 4 cars.
And they're going through races. They found tapes, even if they're audios, back from the 70s.
The late model sportsman champion car going very slowly here on the main straightaway. I don't know whether that's going to bring out a caution or not.
Because if you remember, they were always on MRN.
Speed up in turn number 4 now.
Dad had said in his interview back in May that
See it coming onto the straightaway.
he
He is, and I tell you, you've got
built the front end, did something on the front end for this car.
trouble because it just gets you upset. So you right.
I think he said something about shortening a steering arm or something, or maybe even a control arm. I'm not sure.
Number 00.
I'd have to look back at the interview.
Away, but Bobby Allison is moving up in car number 22, the Miller Oldsmobile. We mentioned that he was looking strong before the caution period, and he has picked up the pace just as much here in this green period. Moving to the inside.
I'm thinking Birdie might have been the crew chief on this car, to be honest.
Number 1, so Bobby is moving up.
On the Busch car. This is Ronnie's Busch car. Well, it was Sportsman.
Substantially.
It's called late model Sportsman back then.
He's got clear racetrack in front of him. The only problem is
Now it's,
up there.
then it changed to BGN and then Xfinity.
Between himself and fourth place, Jack Ingram is considerable. Ingram now coming off of the fourth turn, and Bobby Allison is.
Oh, happy birthday to Brittany.
So it's
I turn more than double that tomorrow.
how many exactly the next time around. First 4 positions continuing to run nose to tail out there, moving high, passing a slower car off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. We haven't seen too many jostling of positions here in the last few laps. Everybody seems
Is she enjoying herself?
that they are in at the moment.
It's like waiting for the explosion, though, Bob. You know it's going to happen just any minute. That was a different line that Sam R took that time.
Why is Jeff wanting to tag his right rear, left rear? Ugh.
Number 4.
You don't have to play dirty.
Unable-
Just have a faster car.
Lost a little bit as he has fallen behind now.
Don't cheat, go faster.
About 4
Right, kitty
seconds
cat.
between the third and
Oh, Stelly snored when I did that. She's snoring.
cars of
And I said,
Ingram and Bob.
kitty cat, you coming to see mommy?
Bouchard.
Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Moves into second place, and now
What do you want?
on Sam R.
No, don't pull the wires.
Strong race for Jeff Bodine. This
BRB, I gotta feed her.
former Rookie of the Year in the Grand National Division has looked very, very strong here in the late model sportsman competition today.
He has looked awfully strong. Sam R gets through 1 and 2, the first and second turn, extremely well. But boy, is he having trouble up in 3 and 4. Bodine just eats him up there. Look, he just closes right up behind him.
Jeff's driving the Hendrick Honda Pontiac. He is 22nd in point standings. This is only his 3rd race of the year. Bodine right behind Sam R. down the main straightaway into turn number 1 again.
Jeff does not look like he's getting through this turn nearly as well as Sam, but he's beating Sam. You know, and this racetrack, Bob, is a compromise situation. If you get through turn 3 and 4, that means you don't get through turns 1 and 2. Exactly right. You try to get through 3 and 4 as best you possibly can, and get through 1 and 2 as just wherever it lands. That's what you're going to do.
Slower cars moving to the inside, allowing the faster cars to pass on the outside. They were able to get by all but one of the slower cars and then had to get off the accelerator. Now they begin to, as they come off of turn number 2. They're passing the number 61 car driven by Glenn Sears of Apex, North Carolina.
That's my old buddy Glenn. He's finally got himself lapped. He's been running real good all day. Managed to stay in the same lap with the leaders, but with only 30 laps to go about, he's got himself lapped.
All right, down off the 4th turn once again. The situation is Sam Ard is the leader. Jeff Bodine 2nd. Ron Bouchard is 3rd. And Jack Ingram is running in 4th place. Then about 4 seconds behind Jack Ingram is the 5th place car driven by Bobby Allison. And I'll tell you, Bobby doesn't seem to be closing in as much as he was a few laps ago.
No. What's going to really make the determining factor is how he catches traffic. He's going to have to be lucky. He's got to let the leaders catch the traffic, going in turn 3, coming off turn 4, going in turn 1, and him catch him on the straightaway. If he can do that, he'll catch him with no problem. If it's reversed, if he catches him going in those corners, they'll drive away from him.
There he is, Bobby Allison in 5th place. Passing the number
Oh boy.
3 car.
Funny story.
Hensley from Whichway, Virginia.
I tried to,
Bergren, who is with the crew chief on this car, Gary Nelson.
I bought the cat food, okay? She doesn't like this salmon swirler too
In
good.
order to get up front.
Well,
She associates her can
they're a little.
with the purple bag,
We're holding our own.
surf and turf or something. And she is so fussy
Gain a little bit.
that I gave her this stuff, and she's looking at the can, which it's full of that.
If it slows down a little, we gain a little.
I said, that's all I got.
We catch that same traffic, and it all depends on how Bobby gets.
She's looking at the damn can again.
It would be nice to have it.
It's yours. You can have it. Go get Chris, and he'll give you milk.
To draft with, or can you run by yourself?
I'll give her milk, then she's okay.
A little quicker because they're running together with that draft.
I'm glad they're having fun. Ooh, look at Ronnie.
3 or 4 cars in that group. It's hard for us to make up any ground on them. So
He knows exactly where he wants his car to go, regardless of anyone else.
we really do need.
Like,
Fingers are.
he's running his line.
They'd like to see a yellow, but if not, they're going to try it another way.
Well, Dick, there was some exciting action coming off of the fourth turn as Jeff Bodine picked up the lead again, moved to the end.
Ronnie always looked low and looked high, even though he wasn't making the move, just to see if the car would stick and stuff.
Everything worked well, and Jeff Bodine.
Yep, that's exactly what Ronnie was waiting for.
Position. Oh, a magnificent job of driving by Jeff Bodine, who got up a little high and scraped the wall, but
Now Ronnie has momentum.
only dropped back to second.
You know, we were talking before the telecast.
Jeff's holding him up.
Turn 3 1,000 times, but yet 1,000th first time, it just ain't right.
And here is 1,001st time for Bodine.
He just gets it a little too hard.
Pops, how are you? I hope you're okay. I haven't seen you stream in a week.
Almost hit Sam Ard.
It's good to see you.
Back to racing.
Great job of driving by Jeff Bodine.
Meanwhile,
This is a Sportsman race. My dad wins.
Second place,
Well, my dad's
chasing him.
helping that team win.
Bouchard. Now Bouchard goes to the inside of the.
You remember Ronnie was like one of my dad's very first cars
Continue to run in.
team he worked with.
Well, we've heard about the Darlington stroke.
They started racing at the same track
The wall coming out of the.
in New Hampshire
Ridiculous there.
at a young age.
now he's going to dive under Sam Ard. No, Sam comes down the hill, blocks him off. Sam's used to that trick now. They've got it on him enough.
As you saw, his Bodine's best finish of the year, a third in the Daytona 300.
I suspected. You know, my son and I were sick. I took a COVID test, but I didn't
It is much.
test positive. So it was some other garbage that we were having. I'm so sorry.
Matter of fact,
You're in Texas. I know it's kind of out west right now.
as far as divisions in the
Getting ready to run through the winter again.
largest,
Is it a bad strain? I hope you got over it easy.
followed by kart racing.
Just make you tired, I hope.
The third highest drawing spectator type of racing in the United States. These cars compete mostly in the southeastern portion of the United States. However, later this year, they're going to compete on the mile at Milwaukee State Fair Park that we have telecast several races from. They also compete as far north as Indianapolis, Indiana, at Indianapolis Raceway Park on the 5/8 mile oval there. 25 laps to go and 11 cars on the lead lap. Looks like Sam might have backed down to the accelerator just for a moment, and Bodine, Bouchard, and Ingram kind of sneaked up, but no change of positions. Well, we know because of comments that we heard that Bobby Allison would prefer to be behind some drivers on the last lap, and Ron Bouchard's team has also indicated to us that he would rather be in second or third position. You think that's a good idea? Would you be in second or third instead of the lead late in the race?
I'd rather be right where Sam Ard is, Bob. I'd like to be leading this race because going in turn 3, he can move low on the racetrack and take that low groove away from those guys, and I don't think they can beat him back to start-finish line. I really don't.
We shall see in about 25 more laps. Once again, back markers being passed in turn number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry about the ads. I meant to snooze them.
Bouchard is the leader. Bodine second. Third is Ron Bouchard, and fourth is Jack Ingram, running in 5th place. Still about 3.5 seconds behind 4th place is Bobby Allison in 5th. Well, 36 cars started this race, and we still have a number of cars out on the racetrack. We have had some accidents, but none serious, and we have a crash in turn number 4. The number 09 car, driven by Francis Affleck from Charlotte, North Carolina, has come in contact with the fence in turn 3.
Yeah, I always try to snooze the ads as much as I can till I can't anymore. Oh, Jesus, that's not good.
Number 14, the car involved, Ronnie Silver. and he just simply couldn't get out of the accelerator fast enough and get to the inside of the track, and he made heavy contact with the number 09 car of Affleck. There is the damage to it, and the other car is down to the inside of the racetrack.
You know, that poor guy had to sit there and watch that car come right at him.
All you can do is hold on. He's moving around in there. I don't think he's injured. We'll check on the situation involving Silver. As a matter of fact,
Wow.
Affleck is pulling away. Here is Affleck's initial contact with the fence.
He does a good job keeping the wall. He really does, because
They do tell you now, once you stop, don't just sit there. Like, get yourself out of the way if you can.
now I'm just
Like, off the surface.
an engine is what caused this problem, and
And get back on the gas if you straighten yourself out.
can't control the car. And boom, and he hit him hard.
He did. He tore the right side of that car pretty much away. Silver did, number 14. You can see the whole side of it has been ripped away. Luckily, it was not the driver's side. So the caution flag comes out, and there is Silver getting out of the race car, and that's a very good sign.
Jesus.
Silver looks like he's
Got his bell rung.
but not seriously injured. May take a ride at the
Looking around, seeing where he's at.
So both drivers are okay, it looks like, and that is going to allow
This was
other things.
like one of our favorite photos of Ronnie back in the day. This one here. This is me, my sister Cindy. She's in the chat hiding. And this is my other little sister. She was in the chat the other day. That's my dad. And this was our engine builder and his son as well. But yeah, that was me here. And this is Ronnie Bouchard in the beginning.
We are caution, and while the debris is taken away from the area of the accident up in turn number
My little Ronnie Bouchard section. This is Ronnie and Petty. This was back when we ran Stafford and Westboro. This was Thompson. Old Blue still races today. In fact, tonight I'm going to watch Stafford. Stafford's on Flow at 6. And what time is it now? Your building is 5. Okay. It's 5 now. So let's skip that. And these were some of the other cars my dad built for him.
You know, regular maintenance on your car at home can
This
not only be safe, but also
is
save you a lot of money. Richard,
Ryan Priest's grandfather's car. He drove that too. So this was the very first one, I think. This car and this car was second.
Making sure they got good tread.
And I'm thinking these chassis might have been some of the same. And these were others.
Like every time you get
Bouchard, 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 Bouchard.
Fluids need to be checked. You know,
all Bouchard rides that Dad had a hand in or advised.
Every time you do, it's always empty.
And then back to Stafford.
From a safety standpoint,
We lost Ronnie several years ago.
In the car need to be checked from time to time. Keep a clean car. That means you take care of it. Every once in a while.
I can back up this. I want to see this interview. I'll cut that other stuff out. Let's try that again.
I'm Larry Newber, and this is another STP Pit Stop. You know, regular maintenance on your car at home can not only be safe, but also save you a lot of money. Richard, there are a lot of things that you can do, whether or not you're a guy or a gal who owns your own car.
Well, there's a lot of different things you can do, you know, as far as checking your tires, checking the air in the tires, making sure they got good tread on them. You know, you go around and make sure that your oil's been checked. You know, say like every time you get gas, you don't really have to check it, but every once in a while you need to check the gas. Brake fluids need to be checked. You know, the water in the windshield wiper is very important. You never think about it till it rains, but every time you do, it's always empty. So this is something that's really, from a safety standpoint, needs to be done. You know, all the fluids in the car need to be checked from time to time. Keep a clean car. That means you take care of it. Every once in a while, you need to take it in for a tune-up because you get better gas mileage. It helps the smog control situation. Overall, if you take good care of your car, then in the long run, when you get ready to trade it, or just as you take care of it, then it's going to pay off all the way around.
You know, there's one other little item a lot of people overlook. Actually washing the car is a part of important maintenance, isn't it?
Well, very much so. I think when a man washes his car or a lady washes a car, they have a little pride in it, and that means they're going to check some of this stuff that they don't normally check. Most time you run, jump in the car, you go to the service station or you go to the school or whatever, and you forget about it. But when you're washing your car, that means you took time to
to be proud of your car. You're taking care of it. Then you'll check those fluids and check the tires and make sure that, everything's hanging where it's supposed to be.
Richard, thank you very much. We will be back throughout the summer with more STP pit stops and tips on driving from the king of stock car racing, Richard Petty.
That was kind of cool. My sister kind of holds the holy grail of all the broadcasts from the years. She's trying to put some of them over to the
race while the track is
what do you say? The
on lap number 120.
make them digital
147. We're setting
and
up for
I'll upload them to my YouTube or my son's YouTube or something like that when they finally get done. She's working on Lime Rock right now, which is very cool.
Tire had to pit, fortunately, under the caution. If this was under the green, it would have been all over. But this is going to cost him and cost him dearly.
These guys were really famous in our area about the time that Pop's dad was driving down in Texas. And Pop's too, maybe.
Leaders, and there is not much.
Did you drive in the 80s?
That stop is not a fast.
This is Sam Ard. This is Sportsman late model, which is Xfinity today, but they just called it Sportsman, then they called it
They do have some time. They've looked all over the car and
Bush, then Xfinity.
He's got his work cut out for him here.
He sure does. He is well back in the field now
But they more resemble the late models on the short tracks, but they were highly not like that underneath.
If things continue to go the way they have throughout the first 130.
Probably banjo chassis anyway.
Jeff Bodine in car number 15 is the leader. Ron Bouchard in 47 is second. Jack Ingram third in number 11.
Or Laughlin.
Bobby Allison fourth in 22. After that, it's Larry Pearson, and then we've a couple of more drivers before we get back to Sam Ard. So he is in a world of hurt here with just a few laps to go. The question is, can he sneak back up through the traffic and get into
Who's the other? See, it was Banjo Matthews and Lindblad.
Sam's in a lot of trouble.
And there was an Ron.
He can
shoot.
pass all those cars to get up to the lead.
The guy that just passed not too long
So
ago.
we've got 12 laps to go in the Dixie Cup.
Ronnie Hopkins chassis.
Here we go for the.
He was driving in one of the races in the 80s. I look back on Ronnie Hopkins. Pretty sure.
First four cars all got green racetrack, clean racetrack in front of them.
I'll tell you, the guy that we're going to have to watch is Bobby Allison, who right now is fourth. Here are the first two, Jeff Bodine and Ron Bouchard. Now these guys.
Boy, Cindy, I'm getting modified vibes from this. Stafford, week after week, it was Bodine and Bouchard fighting it out.
The inside there, coming off the fourth turn right there. And Bobby Allison is racing side by side with him for third position as we watch the first two go into the first and second turns. Bodine followed by Bouchard on the backstretch. Bobby Allison is now third. Fourth is Jack Ingram.
Okay, Pops.
And
enjoy yourself.
Inside going into turn 3, but can't pass. He may be setting up Jeff Bodine for a pass coming out of turn number 4 onto the straightaway. Let's see what happens. Bouchard right behind Jeff Bodine, looking inside again, but Bodine slams the door. Bouchard is way down on the apron. But he gathered it in and held on.
This will take your breath.
Oh, this is great racing. It's been this way all race long. We've had 19, make that 25
Got him.
lead
Nope.
changes in this 147.
Drove it in so hard, yeah. Ronnie's holding it because he knows he's going to push now. Oh, he's got 10 laps. He's still peaking. Oh, Bodine. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Very obviously, these guys, both of them from the New England and upstate New York area, and they're going at it as if they are bitter enemies out there trying to pull off the win here at Darlington. We have trouble.
Ah, jeez.
That's Larry Pearson, who
Dang it.
talked about as running so strong here today.
What a great race.
Scrapes against the wall, and Ron Bouchard moves into lead as Jeff Bodine is forced high in 3.
He paid him back. He paid him back.
Between himself and Bodine. And we have a car spinning in turn 4. That's number 12, Tommy Ellis.
Jeez.
At both ends of the racetrack as Pearson scrapes the wall in turns 1 and 2, and Tommy Ellis scrapes the wall and spins in turns 3 and 4.
And no caution flag. No caution flag.
Are you kidding?
The racing continues. Bobby Allison has moved into second.
Oh, Bodine gotta be pissed.
There is Bouchard. There is Bobby Allison and Jeff Bodine, second and third. Bodine was leading.
Oh, here he comes.
He now moves to the inside at the start-finish line, trying to move back into second. He does so, passing Bobby Allison. But he has got a lot of racetrack to make up between himself and the leader, Ron Bouchard.
That's the greatest thing that can happen for Ron Bouchard is for Jeff Bodine and Bobby Allison to start racing each other. Now just let him pull away.
And that he is doing in turn number 4 now. Ron Bouchard, the leader. Second and third, Bodine and Bobby Allison. They're come off of the 4th turn.
They're drafting. They can catch him.
The inside, a slower car is in the way of the 2nd and 3rd place competitors. They pass that slower car, though, easily as they move into turn number 1. And it looks like that Bodine and Allison are sneaking up and closing in on the leader, Ron Bouchard. They're battling for second position down the backstretch. Allison now
Oh, that's good.
at
No.
the end of the backstretch. But Jeff Bodine holds on to second position.
Those two cars running together are faster than Ron Bouchard. In the draft, they're faster. If he can just get them to racing each other, he'll be all set.
Good position, and look at how much.
Oh, now he got his draft.
Into turn number 1, Allison to the
Car blowed up, went down on the grass.
no racetrack or no place to go, and so falls back into third. We have only 5 laps to go. Bouchard, Bodine, and Bobby Allison on the racetrack, second and third.
After this race, 5 more laps.
Up the distance just a little bit as Bodine and Allison battle for that second spot. They're in turn number 4 off of the high banks down onto the main straightaway. Ron Bouchard moving very low on the racetrack at the start-finish line, then moving high to set up his car going into turn number 1.
He moves down, Bob. He's trying to get out of the so the car can't catch any air off his car. Those cars behind him. He won't draft any off his car, but they're close enough right now that it doesn't really matter.
We're leading the race. You gotta wait.
Has moved in right behind Ron Bouchard now as Bouchard will begin to encounter some slower traffic in the next lap.
This way.
Here he is off of turn number 4. Bodine is right on Bouchard's back bumper now, and Allison is on Bodine's back bumper. They pass a slower car going into number 1.
Just a minute.
Bobby Allison lost a little bit of distance there as he tried to pass that slower car and lost a couple of car lengths.
He caught the car at exactly the wrong place going in the corner, just like Bouchard caught that slow car. Going in the corner. Now Bobby gains back up on him again.
Here they come off of turn number 4. It is Ron Bouchard leading with Jeff Bodine second and Bobby Allison third. Here they come with 2 laps around the 1.63 mile
If you're headed out.
Raceway. ESPN's first visit to this historic racing facility, and we have seen nothing but exciting racing action this afternoon, all during this 200-mile, 147-lap race. Again, at the end of the backstretch in turn 3, it is still Ron Bouchard leading. One of these 3 cars is going to win the race, but at this point, no one can tell which one. The white flag comes out. 1 more lap to go. Bouchard, Bodine, and Allison.
He's in the catbird seat.
Win in the Dixie Cup 200 for NASCAR late model Sportsman drivers.
I'd be scared if I didn't know the outcome.
Backstretch, they continue to run in the same order.
Hi, I'm glad you're back for the finish.
It's going to have to be done soon. Bodine decides that he might go outside, but can't see any racetrack. Cannot make the pass. Here they come in turns 3 and 4. Jeff Bodine cannot find an opportunity. He's blocked by
Ronnie got a little gravity there.
number 4. Here they come, and it's going to be Ron Bouchard winning as Jeff Bodine stuck to the inside at the start.
It was a good race.
Wound up just about the length of the car behind Ron Bouchard and Bobby Allison, who I think got off the accelerator coming off of the 4th turn, realizing that he couldn't pass both cars. Allison finishes in 3rd.
They got a little race commentary after.
200 at Darlington International Raceway in a fantastic race here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the final lap of the race. Here they are crossing the start-finish line, and that is the interval between first and second position. So we will be back with an interview with Ron Bouchard, who has won this race from the pole position. Dick Berggren will be talking with him in just a moment. Deserved victory from the guy from Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, Ron Bouchard. In victory lane, here is Dick Berggren.
And it's a very happy Ronnie Bouchard getting his wife Paula.
Oh, it is Steve Bird behind him, this crew chief.
Charlie, you had a rear mirror
maybe.
for race cars when that thing ended, didn't you?
We really did. The car runs super all day. You know, we were in the right place at the right time, and when Sammy got a flat tire, that really helped a bunch, because he was real quick. But, you know, we got by Jeff, and I run away there a little bit, and then the two of them hooked up together, and they started to run me down, and I says, boy, get this thing over with.
You played with Jeff Bodine in your rearview mirror before, though, and you had him in front of you before, haven't you?
We sure have. We've run a bunch of races back home and modified races, and just thank God this one come out right.
Was he blocking you toward the end of the race, or is that legal in what we're doing here?
Well, I guess it is legal. When I tried to pass him with about 10 to go, he blocked me, so I figured I'd just return the favor.
Very happy Ronnie Bouchard here in Victory Lane, hugging a bottle of champagne. His car owners, his crew, they're all behind him. This is a very, very happy moment. They certainly needed this one.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
And our congratulations to Ron Bouchard, and our thanks to Dick Berggren for his coverage of the pit area, and to Benny Parsons, who had the color comment this afternoon from the booth. The Dixie Cup 200 has been brought to you by Honda Motorcycles. Honda, follow the leader. And by TR...
The crease, huh?
You want tough? TR3 is tough. Take it from Mr. T.
I think we got boxes of hats somewhere.
Lighting up.
I don't know.
Instead of a pup. As we look at the top 10, this is Bob Jenkins saying thanks for joining us. And again, congratulations to Ron Bouchard, winner of the Dixie Cup 200 from Darlington International Raceway. So long, everyone.
Alrighty. He was a great guy. I'm glad we got to see his family this spring at the reunion. This is another one playing. It's 1984 World 600 at Charlotte, and Ronnie is in this, and it's a cup race, and Dad's the crew chief on this team at this point, I think, in 84. So I hope it's a good film. It's not too bad. Usually Charlotte's a pretty good.
Longest competitive closed course race featuring the world's best NASCAR Grand National drivers. The Charlotte World 600 is brought to you by the Stroh Brewery Company.
Okay, it's a little bit swirly in the beginning. Sometimes the VCRs clear up after a few feet of tape.
Skull Bandit. For tobacco play without lighting up, it's a pouch instead of a puff. And by Bodyguard, the premium car wax from Simon Eyes. A long-lasting finish that goes on easy.
I know we get a good finish in this. I'm not going to spoiler alert it. So we're not going to win, but we're going to get a good finish. We're not going to get second either.
Welcome to the Silver Anniversary.
Mike Joy.
America's most storied speedway.
Fresh off of Stafford's pit reporting.
Darlington, their sprint races compared to this. The longest stop on the Grand National Stock Car Tour, the World 600. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Joy. Today, Neil Bonnet will have a chance to do what no man could put together in 24 years, 3 consecutive wins in the World 600. A man who had a flirtation with...
This is the car. They were right.
Donnie Allison
driving in this race.
Races here, and out of a consecutive 5,
sort of.
Second in the other.
Probably use the same car.
But Neil will have a
road
to go today.
Well, Mike, you know the way.
Because it's one of the later 47 Race Hill Farms. This will be there last year, so it probably quite possibly could be the car that was at the show that is on my banner bottom left corner.
And so Neil's going to have a rough road to win those 3 in a row.
Another major story: the king of stock car racing, Richard Petty, could nail down his 200.
And I'm going to walk my puppy dog. I'll be right back.
In the all-time list, his next closest pursuer, David Pearson, has 105 career wins. And who would imagine 10 years ago that anyone would ever win 200 races on this tough circuit?
Well, I don't know who they might be, Mike. You know, it's definitely not me. But, you know, Richard's got an excellent chance to do it today on account of the racetrack is slick, and the car's got to handle well. He's always been known to have a car that had a good chassis, handle well, and I think he's got a little better shot at winning 200 than Neil does 3 in a row.
Now, this race is set to go 600 miles, but there is a threat of rain in the forecast for later this afternoon. And if it comes, the race could be called official anytime after the halfway point, and that'll make quite a change in race strategy.
Well, I think so, very definitely, Mike. You know, when the rain is threatening, you got to go to the front. You got to try to stay there. You got to organize your pit stops around that, and it causes quite a problem because, you know, anytime after halfway it can be called a race, and you know, you can't sit there fourth or fifth and be hoping at the end you got a shot at winning. You got to go to the front.
We're looking for a really competitive race this afternoon. Let's go down to pit road and Charlie Harville.
There's a carnival atmosphere here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but it all stems from the greatness of the Silver Anniversary World 600. Many of us remember the first race 25 years ago. Qualifying situation here at Charlotte created some interesting alignments. On the first day, Cale Yarborough was fastest, but on the second day, after rain following pole position qualifying, his car was relegated to 14th spot in the starting order. Joe Ruttman qualified with the 6th fastest speed overall, but he qualified on the third day. He'll be starting 31st. On the front row, Harry Gant in his number 33 Skull Bandit. And on the outside of the front row, a former World 600 winner, Benny Parsons, in his number 55 Copenhagen car. They'll get the World 600 underway as they lead the field of 42 cars down pit road in just a minute.
Crowd filing into the Charlotte Motor Speedway as we look at the STP starting grid. Starting 8th, the STP Pontiac for the king of stock car racing. The sport's all-time winner, Richard Petty. Winner last week at Dover, searching career victory number 200 this afternoon. Those are the front 4 rows of the 42-car field. Here's the way the rest of the grid lines up for the Silver Anniversary World 600. Row 5, Neil Bonnet trying to win his 3rd straight, and the Richmond winner, Ricky Rudd. Terry Labonte with Rusty Wallace in row number 6. Row 7, Jeff Bodine and Cale Yarborough. Row 8, Tommy Ellis and Bobby Allison. The 9th row, Lake Speed and Ron Bouchard from Massachusetts. In 10, Dale Earnhardt and Phil Parsons. Tim Richmond with Dave Marcus. Pontiac's in the 11th row. Jim Sauter and Dick Brooks. Trevor Boyes, the Canadian, and Greg Sachs. Sterling Marlin and Bobby Hillin Jr. Dean Combs and the short track champion Mike Alexander. Ruttman and Reagan. Shepard and Heberon. Dwyer and Cowart. Harrington and Randy Baker. Jimmy Means, Connie Taylor, Kyle Petty, and Tommy Gale. Stay tuned for the start of the World 600. Here on the racetrack, let's check in with Dick Brooks in the 90 car. Can you talk to us, Dick?
I've got the description of the race, and they tell me I can't talk during the race. I have to do it under the caution. So next caution will be coming back to you, I expect. So this is Dick Brooks, the committee of number 90, Ford Thunderbird, Charlotte Motor Speedway for the World 600.
Johnny, I don't think you'd want to be talking to us, but he's trying to get that car around the racetrack 160 miles an hour.
Mike, I really don't either, especially on a mile and a half. Now, you might get away with a little bit of Daytona or Talladega, but not here in Charlotte.
They're coming out of turn number 4, and the Ford Turbo Thunderbird safety car heads for pit road. We're looking for the green flag to start the Silver Anniversary World 600. Green is on as they come past the flag stand into that little dog-like turn and head for turn 1, and they are still 2 by 2. Walter makes a move to the inside from the second row and drops in line between Gant and Parsons. That's Harry Gant out front with the lead, and Benny Parsons quickly fades back in the field.
Yes, evidently something bad gone wrong there, Mike, or he wouldn't have fell off that fast.
Field down the back straightaway. Rounding turn number 4 to complete the first of 400 laps. Gant, the pole sitter out front. this race. Waltrip wanted to get those 5 bonus points in a hurry. The field fans out behind the 2 Chevrolets and the 4. Richard Petty has moved from 8th starting spot into 4th. Petty, top of your screen, right behind Buddy Baker's 4. Darrell Waltrip trying to jump out ahead of the field, and here again staying right with him. Then Baker's Ford, Petty's Pontiac. We talked with Richard Petty earlier in World 600 Week and asked him, just 1 away from 200 victories, how do you approach that magic mark?
Well, the big deal is that it's the next race that I got to win, whether it's 150 or 200 or whatever, and it just happens to be 200, and we're interested in winning the next race. So if it happens to be 200, then naturally we're interested in it. It's just a number as far as that's concerned. It's just a bigger number than anything else. And right now, I'd really like to go ahead and win 200 and get it over with, so we work on 201.
Back in the backstretch once again, Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip has 60 Winston Cup victories over his career and 2 consecutive national championships. Driving for Junior Johnstown of Raleigh, North Carolina. Junior, the holder of 50 Grand National checker flags. And he's opening up quite a distance on Harry Gant.
I'll guarantee you, Mike, his car seems to handle extremely well. And, you know, the racetrack is slick, even though there is a cloud overcast. Right now, Darrell is really showing a way to go.
Waltrip the leader again in 2nd. Petty dueling with Baker for 3rd. There is Benny Parsons' car. Parsons, the outside pole sitter, was slow on the start, did not get away with the pack, and now he is limping around the racetrack. Petty has taken 3rd.
The copy of this race is so bad, guys.
Field in the World 600.
I'm gonna try to do something here, and if it helps, it helps. If it don't, we'll go to a different race.
Back in line.
Let's see, playback.
Petty opens up a car length of advantage on Buddy Baker's 4th place machine. And Baker takes
a little better, but it still sucks.
Baker on the bottom of the racetrack. Out of turn 4. Contested in the
Hold on, let me take care of the pop-up. I'll be right back. It's a little clearer.
There's the race behind them.
We'll fast forward through this to incidences. This is a little hard to take with this resolution.
Straightaway, and he outruns them in the corner, but just the opposite today.
They are 3 wide for the 3rd spot. And on the bottom of the racetrack, Terry Labonte will get it. Here's Benny Parsons on pit road. 3rd place now belongs to Terry Labonte. And Neil Bonnet wrestles with Richard Petty for the 4th position. Baker has dropped back to 6th underneath Bobby Allison. Neil Bonnet's car, consecutively numbered from Waltrip. They're 11 and 12. Same paint scheme, same sponsor. Whole different racing team. Cars prepared right next door to one another at Junior Johnson and Warner Hodgson's shop. And they're 2 completely different crews. The hood is up on Parsons' car, and that's not a good sign, certainly not this early in the race.
No, it's not. I really don't understand that, Mike, because I understand him running slow like he was doing. He was looking for a caution flag, but no caution came out, so he went ahead. He had to lose that 1 lap, hoping that maybe if a caution come out, he could get in the pits and get whatever was wrong fixed and get right back out, but it didn't work out that way.
Betty Parsons, a winner at Atlanta, will not be a winner here. Darrell Waltrip leads the World 600. Looking for his 61st career Grand National victory and his 4th win of the season. Look at the margin that Waltrip has opened up on Harry Gant. And behind them, the battle rages on from 3rd spot on back. There's Neil Bonnet. He has moved underneath Gant. And Bonnet picks up a position. That'll place him 3rd behind Waltrip and Terry Labonte in the Piedmont Airlines car. Harry Gant will be 4th. Bobby Allison has moved up to 5th as Petty's car goes to the top of the racetrack. He's in danger of losing the 6th spot to Buddy Baker. that surprise you?
No, not really. It doesn't, Mike. He's enjoying that little bit of a lead right now, but, you know, and not to be facetious or anything like that, but, you know, Bobby Allison started 16th, and he's already 4th or 5th, and I'll tell you what, his car is handling extremely well, and might be that the sports break gives these two guys a little advantage. You know, they do what they expect from the racetrack, and we're able to adjust their car to it.
Allison has moved up to the 4th position. Two cars have really marched through the pack. Bobby Allison is one, and the other is young Kyle Petty, who started back in the 41st spot, next to last. He's now running in midfield. The 5 car is New England Modified ace Jeff Bodine, a winner at Martinsville. He's working on the low side of Richard Petty. Right behind him, Dale Earnhardt, and another Yankee chauffeur, Ron Bouchard. Petty and Bodine get close, coming through the tri-oval and down into the corner. Bonnet leading Allison there from 3rd spot, and a gaggle of cars fighting for the 5th position. Petty works the high side of Bodine as we continue under the green in the world.
I guess she's wants to go night. She's walking and pacing. I gave her water. I gave her food.
Racing back in the field.
She just getting my attention. Hi, Stell. You tired? Kid, you gonna go night?
Cutting across the grass.
You got hedgehog?
Turn number 1. The body has track, and that will be to his advantage.
Oh, she's so silly.
Right now, you know, I think the racetrack has gotten a lot slicker, and you know, I saw Darryl slip a lot in the upper lane, and Terry D gets the bottom, and
what you doing?
Fast way to go because he's in front now.
Come here.
Best place to pass here.
Stelly.
I always
What?
to myself. You know,
She goes up like this and looks at me backwards.
Dryer.
You want beer?
Fourth turn, you stood a little bit more than 3 and 4. I always like 1 and 2. I know, like guys like Buddy Baker, like to pass.
Because I just opened one.
Preference, I guess.
Good battle going on behind.
Stelly. She'll come tell me. She was lapping my leg, which I means she wants something to drink.
There's Ron Bouchard.
There we go. We could see it a little bit.
All getting underneath Neil Bonnet.
Wow.
He looks like a lonely man up there on the high side.
Well, I know, you know, he's stuck on the outside right now. Like I said, Mike, it's awful slick up there evidently because every car that goes in at the bottom goes by, and the guy that gets stuck on the outside, he is slipping and sliding.
Lake Speed in the number 1 car, the Bullfrog Nets machine. He's trying to work his way past Bonnet. And Neil will have to find him.
You might want to look and see if you have this race as well, Cindy.
Here's the lead pack. Labonte, Allison, Waltrip. The rest of the field coming mostly single file. A little dust kicked up there near the outside retaining wall.
Because maybe we can make a better copy.
Up in the Ford there. He's climbed up from the tail end up to the middle of the pack.
I'll tell you what, too, Mike, he's doing a super job. His car is handling extremely well and running real good. And Kyle right now is really impressed with me.
Terry Labonte looking for his first win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's won elsewhere on the tour, but not here.
If the screen bothers you being that blurry, I think the commentary is really good. So just minimize it and keep the volume up or something if it bothers you to watch
Ron Bouchard right with them.
This resolution. I turned it up to 480p.
At the front of the field, Labonte has got his seat on the Texas short track. Cale Yarborough and Richard Petty side by side there. That's back about 10 spots. And Bobby has the inside, and he wants to run the lead.
Bobby Allison and Terry Labonte.
Buick slips underneath the Terry Labonte car and into the front spot.
And right now, Mike, he can stay about a half a width of a car lower than anybody else in the corner, and that's the reason why he's leading the race, I believe. His car just seems like it's stuck a little bit better than most, and of course, Richard Petty noted to have a good chassis. He seems to be having an awful lot of trouble right now. He's just going back further and further, and if he's not careful, his son's going to catch him in a little bit.
Petty's up on the top of the racetrack. Here now, the fight for second spot. Waltrip on the outside of Labonte. And Darrell's car looks to be working a little better up on the high side.
Well, you know, one lap he runs really good up there, and then the next lap he evidently gets out of that little bitty groove, and they must have set up there. And you know, I noticed Earnhardt's car a while ago was doing the same in the top lane. But, you know,
That's the car that was in that famous photo or that poster with the tire changer running around the front with the hose flying. I believe that was Steve May on that front tire changer in the photo.
bumpy at 160 miles an hour. Yes, it is, and I tell you,
on the front tire, meaning the tire changer.
now, and that little traffic jam right there, you don't want to hit too many bumps. Field moves past the Delma Coward automobile. Bobby Allison looking for career victory.
I forget our racing pit slang might not translate to people who aren't familiar.
Bobby Allison cars are going according to plan, Gary.
Well, we sure like it when there's not many cautions and we're running this good because the other guys don't really have much time to adjust their cars. We started off a little loose and then we got it to where it was pushing a little. We just made an adjustment and we hope it really comes on now for the rest of the race.
Wow. Gary did such a good interview on Dirty Mo Media the last few weeks, months, or whatever it was released. Oh my God, if you want to learn about chassis stuff and everything, his theory was spot on to what I was taught. So, I mean,
Curtis Turner said once loose is when you hit the wall with
he knew what he was doing.
the car. Well, that's a pretty good determination of it. I never like to go quite that far, Mike. Bobby Allison.
Sorry, Pops. My laptop gets notifications and they cover up my chat.
Going up. It's a grim sign. Trouble up in the corner. One car spins to the bottom of the racetrack. Well, Mike had Trevor Boys and he and Terry Labonte got together and Terry made a little bit on further around.
Yeah, right.
But those cars look now like...
I keep wanting to fast forward it, but there's just so much interesting stuff. It'll just have to be another one that's on the list
Piedmont Airlines
for us to look in our archives.
And now it will lift down the pit lane, dropping the window net for Trevor Boys.
I love the old fonts on the cars. Can you picture those old fonts like that with your new colors and crazy
I was really surprised.
You know, shit y'all do.
Moving again. Ricky Russ on pit road.
Wow.
28-year-old driver, the Bud Moore full.
Now, this is 1984.
The pole sitter.
And I had been watching 1982 and I skipped right over 1983.
Childress, Kurt Shelberdine of the Wrangler crew, fitting right side tires. And here's Phil Parsons.
But it was my dad's last season with that team there, and then he went to IMSA.
Right side tires as well. The field will bunch up for the restart, and we'll be back to Charlotte Motor.
Yeah. Usually they're much better than this. The one I just played from 83
in this race
was clearer.
The first caution flag of the day. We went the first half of the race. Caution free.
I wonder if it has something to do with the uplinks or the tape itself.
Three abreast.
When it was
Earnhardt way up on the outside.
Received
on the lead lap on the low side of the racetrack
by whoever, TNN or ABC or CBS.
Allison takes the high groove. Earnhardt slams down low. And that's Tom Ellis way down below the yellow line there, you know, the sports driver from West Virginia. Ellis, middle of the pack, a couple laps off the pace. Front of the field, Allison and Earnhardt. The third car in line is Harry Gant. He is one lap behind, trying to pass the leader, get back on the lead lap. And Gant almost takes it into the grass. Well, you know, now, really, Mike, they've got a chance to change all four tires on their pit stop on the yellow, and it's very important. The tire compound is so hard. A lot harder.
Is this Atlanta?
Because of the sealer, you know.
What race am I damn playing? Is it Charlotte or Atlanta? Okay, Charlotte. It looks like Atlanta track. I kept trying to figure it out.
End up in the top. Cale Yarborough working Ricky Rudd. And Neil Bonnet. Race traffic. There's Peter Allison. And Allison now has a cushion between himself and the second place car. Harry Gant at 33 has settled in between the two leaders. Both the front cars came from way back in the pack on the start. Allison started 16th. Earnhardt in the number 3 car started 19th.
That just shows, Donnie, where you qualify has little bearing on where you end up running once the green flag drops.
Well, Mike, really and truthfully, when you don't have any caution flag, it doesn't really matter. You know, the cars get strung out, the guy that's got his chassis working better, or, you know, the car handling better or what. It doesn't matter if you start 16th, 19th, or 20th. You know, it's just a matter of time you can beat the front.
A couple of raindrops up here on the glass of the booth. Trouble there is Waltrip's car caroming off.
Oh, my.
And Bobby Hillen's car slid to the bottom of the racetrack.
Ronnie almost got in that.
No smoke. No indication of a blown engine.
And he was almost getting lapped.
Hillen's car.
I think if that 11 was...
Rain is beginning to come down a little bit hard.
Oh, rain.
See what happened here.
I don't really understand that, Mike. You know, the way the car went up, almost...
I saw Ronnie get...
It could have been wet right there.
Assy, too. And I thought it was smoke off the tires, but it's so blurry, I couldn't tell it was rain.
Somebody, Mike, I don't believe that car would have turned that fast yet.
Oh, Hillen got screwed.
Dick Brooks in the number 90 Chameleon Ford had a good angle on it from his seat.
Dick Brooks down the racetrack again. Everybody kind of took off after that caution flag, and it's all bunched up. Everybody kind of shuffling for position. And I don't know for sure what happened to Walter. Just all of a sudden, there was a lot of debris on the track, and a couple of cars with the marks out from under him. And he had been in a wall. So I didn't see what happened to it, but he hit the wall up between 1 and 2 somewhere and knocked the right front off. This is Dick Brooks, World 600 from Mesley Sports Network.
You saw Waltrip walking past. He is okay. So is Bobby Hillen as the crowd seeks shelter from the rain showers. Let's see who else is...
I didn't realize... Hi, Michael. How are you? Good to see you. I seen you're involved with the Rose City. That's so nice. I put the deer on all night. If any of y'all... There's so much stuff going on Twitch. That's cool.
Oh, what they're going to do, they're going to sit and wait.
And anyway, I see you're a mod. I was spied to see who was in the chat because I wanted to make sure it was Chief's website or association.
I think it must be wet in there up to his...
But it's way out in the country, and it's just a camera of a field, and all the deer are there all night long with all the full racks right now and everything. They're just so beautiful.
They fell off the car directly in front of him. That triggered the chain reaction.
Yeah, the crickets. Well, I turned that down a little because
cover them up under the red.
My son said it was giving him a headache.
We'll be right back to the show.
But he's up at night racing and stuff, so.
Mike Joy with Donnie Allison.
He works third shift because he races the sim.
Gail Yarborough.
Ever since the endurance races, he sleeps at night.
The green flag.
I mean, sleeps during the day most of the time.
Those cars in the lead lapper in the outside lane. Bobby Allison's at the head of the pack, and he leads them down to the green.
Ah, okay, that's cool. Is that Chief's other site or his wife or somebody?
Back through the field.
Well, I think something's happened to his car, Mike. Either it's fouled the plug or something's wrong. I never like to restart.
Right. The roar. Yeah, exactly. I will tell y'all, if you are racing on iRacing, as a preference, I watch so many races that my ears will hurt. So I like that I can hear your voice above the sim.
Blue and yellow number 3 car is the race.
But I know my son has his sim. He doesn't use headphones. He had surgery up in his head and stuff, so it bothers him to have earphones on. So he has the speakers on tables, so he almost hears, and he's got it all balanced so he can hear the cars coming around him. He's got his own little makeshift surround sound in his sim. And I know, some people have to have it loud to know that. So I don't know.
Third in the race.
But I do know my ears constantly ring anyway, even when there's no sound. So the racing drowns out my ears ringing, but sometimes it
up on the outside
gets to be a lot.
I definitely think the racetrack's better right now than it was before the red flag. I think it's washed clean because the cars seem to be sticking quite a bit better. And
I have thought of doing something like that out back of my RV. We're right on the edge of the woods. When we first moved in, there were pigs, wild pigs out there, and we had to kind of make it so, like, I crisscrossed a lot of, like, the palm tree branches and stuff, so it was uncomfortable for them, and they moved on, and I cut all the branches and everything so it would, like, let light in there so it would deter, because wild pigs are kind of mean in Florida or everywhere. Tease gator cam. Well, we do have an armadillo, and we do have possums, and we have deer that come in and out by our little path right behind our thing. So I want to move my whole sim out of this little area into
the World 600.
That back window and have the actual nature behind me if I'm on watching these races.
Are fighting now for the fourth.
And we just have to do a little work because when we got this RV, it had damage in the back, and we're gonna pull the whole back wall off and replace it new as soon as the weather isn't too hot anymore to have to run the AC.
To those 15, but it didn't hold up. Harry Gann ended up on the pole. He qualified on the second day.
I mean, we have the window. We can put the window back in, but I also thought we could frame it out. But we have a bench seat there, and I was thinking frame it out for a sliding glass door on the end of it, but then it probably wouldn't travel well. I don't know. I wonder what... I mean, I see them all over the place, but I guess if you secured it well, so it didn't do this shit.
Now we've got enough fuel, and the tires are good also. Change 4 tires last time. Well, I just hope that we don't have to stop anymore. If there happens to come a caution out, then we'll stop and put on 4 tires.
Because if we ever brought this to land, like just bought a piece of land and had it on it, we would probably make a patio off the back anyway. So. Or another bedroom, like a sunroom or whatever. I really like the layout of the RV, and I wouldn't mind adapting this whole thing into some sort of structural home
Rookie of the Year honor
edition.
You won it in 1967. You were Indy Rookie of the Year in 1970, and that's got to mean a lot to a driver on the way up in his career.
Find a little bit of land and a fixer-upper, so you have your water and sewer, and fixer-upper it while you live in this.
But it is really a great...
There's not much of that in Florida, though.
Everything pays a lot more money now. Today's winter...
Have to go to the mountains, and my son doesn't like the cold.
Yeah, in 1970, I won the race here and finished...
When he lived in Alaska, I don't know how he did it.
$70,000
But he adapted. He lived there 6 years.
Cale Yarborough. His one concern is winning his first...
I remember his first summer here, he was dying.
Middle of your screen.
In North Carolina, he was dying. It was just like a 70-degree day, and he's pouring sweat. So your body does adapt. It's weird.
With 80 career...
He's got a lot of stories from Alaska. That would be kind of cool.
He's won 9 times on NASCAR.
I have good cameras, but I don't know how
Dale slips a little bit
exactly.
Well, yeah, and you know, like I said earlier, Bobby...
I could do it. I could put one on a tripod. I got 2 different cameras that may adapt to somehow being able to be live. And they're of excellent quality, but I think one's like either a Minolta or a Fuji or something, and the other one, my sister would know. I'd have to ask my son. If
trying to win his 3rd championship.
I mean, I know I can plug it in and see the pictures on it, but I wonder if I could view live. Video type thing.
Well, you know, right now, Mike...
It would fill the video card, so that wouldn't work.
They're having trouble. Terry Labonte...
We'd have to bypass some sort of saving mechanism.
He had his trouble in wrecking and so on, but his car's not doing well at all.
Rudd is way off the pace. He is posted 4 laps down. You have drivers in this sport.
The nature around here is like so awesome. We live on Woodpecker Lane, and there is literally like pileated woodpeckers all over the place here, and you hear them. They sound like Woody Woodpecker, the laugh.
You know,
you hear them all the time.
The field is catching up mighty fast right now. Bobby is is definitely...
I heard an osprey the other day. We have a resident hawk.
The defending Winston Cup
He's a
champion, and he has
red-shouldered hawk.
right alongside as they come off the fourth corner.
And we have a
Tri-oval area.
anhinga that lives in the park. He's a drip-dry bird. They call him a snake bird.
Right there, Mike, I believe. You couldn't put a piece of paper between them. And Cale will get a jump.
And a flock of ibis. Ibises in the morning. Oh my God. That's all I can think of when I see those.
Car behind them looks like
white birds that look like a duck, but they have a long, skinny beak. Like that long.
Coming down
goes out in a little skinny curve.
And still racing out hard side by side.
And then we got a tricolored heron, an egret,
and they are racing close.
a baby egret. He just moved in. I saw him on a pond the other day. Ooh, Cale Yarborough.
From his car, lots of it. I think Mike really right there what happened. That thing must have broke the piston or something. You don't very often see that from that race thing. Very seldom do you lose an engine. But that's water coming out the exhaust pipe right there. Cale Yarborough.
It's white.
Around to the garage area.
Steam.
We'll be right back.
And the water mixes somewhere where the head either cracks or...
Harold Kinder drops the green flag, and we're back to racing at Charlotte.
Or a rod goes through the blocks and the headers.
He is trying to get within striking distance, but he's now just 3 laps down. Bobby Allison in 22 at the head of the field. Right behind him is Harry Gant. Gant in the 33 car, 1 lap down. That gives Allison a bit of a cushion on that yellow-nosed machine. Way up high, running through the speedy dry, the cleanup of Cale Yarborough's engine. There's Earnhardt flashing at the bottom of your screen.
I just realized something. Stafford is starting soon because they just got a notification on YouTube. They play the heats at Stafford every Friday night live on YouTube, and then for the features, they switch it to Flow Racing, which is good to know if you like watching modifieds and local home tracks. Like Stafford's my home track from as a kid, and I think it's the best track in the whole wide world. But they are going live in a little bit. I might jump into that even if it's behind the time.
The lead lap can move up and double up on the outside. So if Gant could pass Allison and the caution flag come out, he can come all the way around the racetrack and be in a position to...
Because this is only a 42-minute... The reason these 1984s were such short races, like less than an hour of taping, they were on usually Wide World of Sports. And they would jump to golf or tennis or swimming.
He's definitely slowed down.
And so you didn't get the full race.
When the cars made that last...
Okay, Pops.
Caution. If they made an adjustment to Earnhardt's car, or even if they just put on a set of tires with different circumference than the ones he had on the car, it could really throw things out of whack for him. I think so. It might have changed the rollout. That's the difference in the circumference of the tires. And it's all important, you know. They get one tire a little bit too big or a little bit too little, and it makes the car not handle as well. And that's what I think's happening to Dale Earnhardt's car right now. There is Earnhardt, the number 3 blue and yellow Wrangler machine. Richard Childress, the former driver.
Oh, first year with Childress.
Kirk Shelmerdine, the crew chief. They're running in second place. Behind this man, Bobby Allison. The Gary Nelson directed Dyguard crew. Miller High Life entry. The defending national champion. That building in the upper right of the screen, condominium. It's part of a multi-million-dollar expansion program at Charlotte Motor Speedway. New VIP suites, more grandstands, more facilities for the fans. You been up in those condos?
Yes, my brother Bobby owns one, and I had the pleasure of being up there trying to help him get moved in for this race. But I hope, really and truthfully, along with all the other improvements, that they put something besides the Steelers they put on the racetrack next time.
I'll tell you the truth, you could probably buy a condo at Charlotte cheaper than you could buy a house in Florida, to be honest. Like a lot cheaper.
Earnhardt, the second place car.
I would bet.
Close in, but Earnhardt is not running as low on the racetrack. There's Allison almost right down.
Entry-level homes start at $300,000 down here. I laughed my butt off when I saw that.
Handling quite as well as Bobby.
He's definitely not handling as well as Bobby right now, Mike, and he has slowed down. Bobby's got a pretty comfortable lead, and I'm sure that right now Bobby's main concern is just finish these laps out. Bobby Allison has won this race twice, 1977 and 1981.
Jacksonville's building a bunch of houses, though. I saw the mayor talking somewhere
$1 million in career
on TV.
on the NASCAR circuit.
She said the average one-bedroom apartment in Jacksonville is $1,500. It starts at $1,500.
Those monies,
not the average.
The driver, of course, gets a share. And Allison, who races not only 30 Winston Cup events, but a total of about 80 races a year, flies to most of them in his own plane.
I only know these things because I just had to renew my lease, and I was researching all the other options to make sure that this is best, and I'm so glad I'm here. Like, I have extra appreciation for being here now.
Out there right now.
Because it was like...
I don't know anybody that's older than him on the racetrack right now, but...
I really like Flagler. And I like where I'm at, and the animals love it. My dog's safe, my cats are safe.
Gary Nelson is just 31. Yeah, and the boy came
So,
from California.
I might even start using their swimming pool. I'm just anti-people.
And best quality fuel with Bobby Allison. And Nelson is an innovative crew chief. They use a computer on pit road and program the past World 600
Yeah, right?
computer to try to develop trends.
Well,
to expect in this race.
Since I moved in here 4 years ago,
because there is the
it's gone up
starter Harold Kinder, and next trip by
$300 just to rent the lot.
Share of the $500,000 purse for this silver anniversary World 600.
$300 in 4 years.
That's a long lap, but I'll guarantee he's smiling right now, and he'll be another one of the drivers that said they won this race.
But because I've been here so long, when I went to the office, they say you get a reduced rate because you're on this schedule, and I was like, yes. It wasn't much, but it's, $40 is $40.
There's the checkered flag.
They still raised it, but at least they didn't raise it 80.
As the only three-time
They raised it 40.
So Richard Petty does not win his 200th career victory today.
It's just, it's so nice here. That's the only thing. It's like, if you want to fish, you just walk across the park here.
Came in a way
where I walk Stella or whatever.
To win his first 600
and throw in a line. You want a canoe? Throw in a canoe right there and go all the way to the ocean if you want. It's just amazing. You can at least get to the Halifax River, the Tomoka River.
Right after this.
And in the summer, I get like the winter blues because you got to stay in the house because it's so hot.
The car came in there, standing there.
Bobby won.
So it's a real family.
Okay, when they show the rundown, our car finishes third.
World 600.
That's why I played this, because it was on the... Yep. P3. My dad was crew chief in that.
Harry Gant was fourth. Jeff
See, he raced with some people, man.
Jody Ridley, David Pierce.
He raced with some people.
Top 10. Let's go to Charlie Harville in victory lane.
Bobby, the really tough part of the racing appeared to be at the end. Did you run hard all day?
We ran hard all day. We got behind a little bit there in that one stretch. We were experimenting with our tires a little bit, but we had reeled them in before, and we felt we could do it again.
I'm going to try something and see if I get dinged or not dinged.
Yeah, we had him beat when he blew up.
I'm going to try to run this Flow Racing Stafford from YouTube, because it is free on YouTube, and see if I get in trouble or not.
It was just something else.
Oops, not. Pause.
Thank you. We'll take it.
Yes, Robert. Yes, Becko. All right. Okay, let's do this quick. Well, Mike gets running like the Dickens down in victory lane right now, but Bobby's
See, I'm on the wrong channel.
Allison and Charlie Harville. This is Mike Joy congratulating Bobby Allison on his World 600 victory.
Oh, wow. Yep, that was that. I think it's jumping to Pocono, but I want to do a Pocono in a different day.
93 degrees, winds from the southwest.
There's a Pocono I want to do. Let me do this. All right, that's actually stats from 84. I got to give you the address, and you can just take these stats and get kind of a rough idea of Dad's starts, finishes, and average starts, average finishes. These two columns. And certain ones Dad raced with and certain ones Dad did not race with. Mainly starting 1982, July race, Daytona right here was the first one. Dad was with this team all the way up to the end of 84. So we got to go mid 82, all of 83, all of 84, and then Dad went to, you'll see it here, Dingman Brothers. Dad went to IMSA then, because Ronnie drove a little bit right here, see, in the 24 hours, but when he jumped in the car, the transmission was already junky, so I don't know if they dropped out or what they did. Oh, excuse me. I had to sneeze. What I'm looking at is Flow Racing's YouTube. Now, they'll run the features, which is on the pay channel, but, oh, they got good stuff. Where is their live? Okay. Live. I thought I saw Stafford. You know what it is? Stafford. It's Port Royal is live. Stafford's live on Stafford's channel. I need my glasses. Live look in September heat races. Okay, this is their weekly racing series. I told you it had already started, so I'm going to go back to where it starts here. It's simulcasted on Flow Racing.
Drivers about tonight's race.
I don't think I'll
be
in trouble for playing this because it is on YouTube.
Had it all week, and I picked it up last night.
So what's the confidence like?
Let's go here.
An event that you're missing still from the late models.
I have a lot of confidence. I mean, we've had a lot of good results. We just haven't got the win yet. But
it's on YouTube as like a free option, and the hook is you'll
it'll be
purchase the.
It'll be exciting.
One was Paradisco Musca shootout back in 2000.
Purchase the subscription to watch the features.
Victor is playing with them.
71 to 81.
Second.
Every single weekend. Every Friday.
This year, since we started. So points have no issue anymore. What's the easiest way to say this? I race everybody the way they race me. You get into me, I'm going to get you right back. And that was a case of last week. And unfortunately, 2 other cars got wrecked, and I don't want that to happen, but I'm not going to take any more abuse on the track. The only thing I'm going to do is just run my race. I'm going to run Paul's race. I'm not going to run the track's race.
I feel like we're going to have a really good car, and we got tires that we've planned on using for this race for a little while, and I think they're going to be good. So the car should be pretty good. I think what stopped us last week is just the fact that it takes me a couple laps to get my rhythm. When Adam was Gray was a car we were chasing, and it takes him no time to get in his rhythm. He's just like he's doing it with his eyes closed. So we just need to. I just need to get rolling better, quicker.
What do you expect for 50 laps tonight? Do you take it easy early on, or do you just go hard from the get-go?
My way of doing things has always been just take what they give me. So maybe if those guys are really dicing it up a lot, maybe you take it a little easy, and maybe if you think everyone is being a little too conservative, you can go get it. But I'll be vigilant about it and just and take it as it comes.
Yeah, it was really cool. That was my main goal coming into the year was to get another win, and the car had been so good all season. Just things hadn't worked out, but things finally worked out to be able to get that win, and it felt really good. My brother Al had won earlier in the year, so I wanted to try to be able to get a win to match what he was able to do.
Is that an inter-family competition you two have?
No, not really, but we put a lot of work into both of our cars, so it's nice to see them both running good and having equal success.
So you got a night race tonight, 50 laps. We've done a couple of night races in the last couple of weeks. How does your car handle at night? What more do you need?
I feel like it's pretty good at night. I think just got to stay patient this week and not get through at least the first half of the race before really pushing the car and just kind of see where I'm at.
You won a lot of races at Stafford across different divisions. What would it mean for you to win the 50 lapper tonight?
It'd be cool. It's always neat to do extra laps and have a bigger race. It's definitely a different strategy than the normal 30 laps. So it'd be really cool to have some. I've never really had a lot of luck in this 50 lap race, so it'd be cool to be able to have a good run tonight.
Yeah, the car's been getting even better each week, and we've been doing good. And we hope to do better in this 50 lapper.
How does the strategy change with the extra 20 laps, going from your normal 30 laps to 50? Did things really change behind the wheel?
I guess it depends on where you start in the field. And if you're up front, then you kind of want to go. If you're in the back, you probably want to hang out for a little bit and see what goes on and then start to go.
Goals for the final stretch of the season here. We've got about 5 weeks left. Do you think you can get back to victory lane?
Yeah, that's my goal, where I'm working towards. Hopefully tonight or hopefully by the end of the year.
Cooler weather tonight. How do you think that might change the game? Could be the coolest night of the year.
Yeah, we usually do better at the beginning and at the end of the year, so we're excited.
I lost track of hours. No, I think I've been running on about 2-3 hours of sleep every single night, and a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of frustration. But I mean, it's behind us. We're here. We just need a good, solid night so I can actually go home and sleep on a Saturday.
So not to bring up last week again, but from your perspective, what took place?
Looked like 39 got into the back of 23, and it was kind of just chaos from there. I couldn't tell you what happened. If it was through the, in the driver's seat view, I have no clue. I've watched that in-car about 100 times, and I still have no clue from the in-car on what I could have done to avoid it. We've been so close to that first win a few times, and to have a fresh start tonight. New clip, new front suspension completely. It would be unreal to be able to win tonight.
This is an absolutely fabulously run track. It's been ran by the Root family since I was a kid.
I don't show up for second.
Jackie Root, the commentator, got his start here. It's his family. His sisters run it. The uncles, whatever.
That would be awesome.
Last couple of weeks have been tough. Car just hasn't been what we...
I watched his dad race.
Tried a few things. Didn't really work out. Had a couple of problems last week, but I think... hoping this is the week we turn it all around.
I mean, this is like my family away from home, because we spent
your former winner of the
so much time at this track, more than
do you feel those extra 20 laps
and other tracks, of course, with the modifieds.
Not a ton, but I like the extra distance. I've always enjoyed just being able to pace ourselves a little bit, take your time where you can, and I like the extra laps. We've always done pretty well in the longer races, so I'm hoping it plays to our advantage a little bit. As long as the car is, as long as we got a good car under us tonight, and some of these adjustments worked for us, we'll be in good shape. I always like racing in September. I like the cool.
Many y'all have late models.
A little bit of good luck too.
We're excited.
It's worth a trip to try to run with these guys. They're so good.
We played the tires out a little bit, so that we found out a few things about the tires. We were scuffing them earlier, and we went to just run them on the same night now, and if I beat them up enough, we'll be fine. I think it's going to the racing should be better, honestly. I think that the cars will be more stable, and the guys hopefully use their head.
They got safer barriers all around.
You almost double what we run regularly, and if we get through the first few messes, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been better, I think, every week.
Watched his dad race.
A little bit, and I don't know. We've made changes and just feel what the car needs, and 50 laps, the same as 30, just 20 more. Not a big deal. I think it'll be the same guys up front. Just like I said, we're just struggling a little bit and missing it a little somewhere, and just. But we'll do the best we can and just finish and be back next week.
What do you think you're missing that you could, hopefully get tonight to get the victory lane, either tonight or this final stretch here?
Isn't working, and we get a little better than the track changes, I think, with the weather, throughout the season, and trying to keep up with it, and we're not quite there. And so I don't know, we'll just keep throwing things at it, and we'll just hope for the best, you know what I mean? Who knows, we'll hit on something, hopefully, one of these days.
We went back to the shop, and we found out
Same family.
our left front spring
She drives.
so it wasn't doing its job, for lack of a better word. I talk more about it in my YouTube video, so you can go watch that. It's Performance with No Delay. So we went back to the shop, we fixed that. We also made some other changes this week as well. Joe Ham helped me out a tremendous amount this week. He worked on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every single day this week to get this car to be as fast as it can be. So I really appreciate that. He's always willing to help everyone out, even on weekends. This isn't his full-time job, so in addition to his actual job, he took the time to help us. My dad also took a lot of time to help me this week as well. He also has a job over 30 laps, even when the car is not great and not handling well. At least it's consistent. So we have that to look forward to. My brother Ryan is also here. He's a former winner of this race, so I look forward to at least one of us being on the podium.
The car's actually been really good.
My old
everybody's really good.
alumni, like mod brats. We were all mod brats.
I feel like I got in a wreck a couple.
They all grew up too.
Steering parts, and it took us a while to figure that out. So hopefully.
Now, your brother said that extra distances are not his thing in terms of blocking or whatever. How about you? How do you feel about extra distance events?
I like them. I finished third in this race a couple years ago, and I've won the limited late model extra distance a couple times. So I kind of like the extra distance.
Oh, it's a good thing for the highs because I would have packed it in by now if it wasn't for those. Just been an up and down season, like you said. It's been, we've had a fast car, and that's basically why we've kept coming back every week. If we were struggling speed-wise, I probably would have taken a few more weeks off and just kind of regroup and go from there. But no, we got a good car every week. It's just a little bit of luck and so on. But just one of them seasons, and we'll just keep plugging along, keep working hard, and we'll get there.
This is going to be a night race. The last couple weeks have been night races for y'all. And you finished second in this event last year. So what are you expecting for this event, knowing the speed you got?
Hopefully I don't pull the same bonehead move I did in the first lap last year. I missed a shift last year on the first lap, first restart, and had to go to the tail. So I just patiently aggressive, because this thing could go green, and if it does, we'll be everyone will be hustling to get to the front as soon as they can, because if we don't get another restart, it's going to be a long night. Don't want to see cars.
My Friday night family reunion with these guys. This is just like,
beginning of the year.
I could never hardly wait till Friday night. And when the racing season ended, I was so depressed.
It should be a fun night.
Yeah, I mean,
I love Flo Has It.
You know, the last 6 weeks, the car has been absolutely on fire, and we usually got a pretty good long run car. You know, we look at some of the times, and a lot of guys drop off towards the end where we stay the same, drop off a little bit less, and I'm very confident going into tonight.
Did you have that same setup last year for when you won the 50 lapper in the Paradiso Insurance 50?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same deal. You know, we last year was I had terrible luck in years past with long distance races, and last year lucked out good. To me, being a late model guy, it's cool to have a show a year that showcases us. I think it's some of the best racing here on a Friday night, but I might be a little bit biased.
They'll show you the schedule. They have many classes.
With Paradiso, they've been such a good partner for the division, and we appreciate all they do.
And there you have it. You heard from several of our late model contenders as they prepare for the biggest event of the year. It's time to go racing. It's the
Let's go racing!
You see, even Winter the Second's excited. It's the Paradiso Insurance Late Model 50, and Ben Dodge is on the call for all the action.
And that big barn behind there, that's where we hung out after the races. Parents were waiting on the payroll, payout.
Let the race come to them.
And they had food, and all us kids like just raised heck in the parking lot being stupid.
Insurance night and the 50-lap event is the highlight of their season for late model competition.
And that voice speaking,
alongside
Ben Dodge, is famous
We'll be covering the action
with the mods.
John Gates down on pit road for this evening's presentation. And Kyle, the one thing we've seen today is the fact that everybody seems to be dialed into the conditions. You talked a week ago about how we've been racing under sunlight, and that is no longer the case. It is dark for feature event time. Dark means fast, and in some cases dirty, and we've seen a little bit of it all in last week's program.
Yeah, we did. We saw a little bit of everything last Friday night, and we expect cooler conditions tonight, as a lot of the drivers mentioned in our pre-race just a moment ago, talking to the late model drivers that are scheduled to go out as our last feature of the evening for their longest event of the year, the most prestigious, the Paradiso Insurance 50-lap event, and we hope that you visited the Paradiso Insurance.
Absolutely.
They have lates and super lates, street stock.
The main gates as you're walking in and make it get one of those really cool